and permutations for the Lions to finish first in the West are many, but this is what it boils down to. For the Eskimos to finish on top in the West, they must defeat both the Lions and the Concords in Montreal next weekend. The Edmonton quarterback for 2 of their last 7 straight wins has been the backup, Damon Allen. Allen came off the bench and ran and passed the Eskimos to a win over Montreal and an even more impressive victory over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But starting today is the Eskimos' Shenley nominee for Outstanding Player Matt Dunnigan. Bothered by a sore elbow for the past 2 weeks, Dunnigan has thrown the ball well in practice. Regardless of who directs the Eskimos' offense, these 7 Lions that make up part of one of the best defenses in the CFL will be doing their best to shut them down. Led by the former Eskimo and one of the best sackmen in the league, the always dangerous and never slow James Quick Parker. Live from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, the battle for first place in the West continues. It's the Lions against the Eskimos. Hi, everyone. It's good to have you with us for this all-important game. Ronnie, would it be an oversimplification to say it'll be the Eskimos' running game against the Lions' defense?
I don't think so, because Jackie Parker feels they have to run the football to beat the Lions. They average 160 yards a game rushing, but they're looking at a team that's only allowing 3.6 yards every time somebody carries the ball on the ground. 60 yards a game is what they're giving up on the ground. I don't know if they can accomplish the feat they want to, and if they don't, they're going to have problems. So the running game for the Eskimos has got to go today.
Okay, the teams are ready. We're ready. But right now, let's go to Brian Williams at CFL Control. Brian, standards, it is a perfect late October afternoon for this all-important game in the West. Temperature of 6 degrees Celsius. The wind will not be that big a factor early in the game. Humidity 60%, and there's a 20% chance of rain. It is a beautiful afternoon, as is said by Edmonton standards. Now let's check out the officiating crew. It's an experienced one, headed by Bud Ulrich, who will be the referee. Ken Lazaruk and Larry Rohan, of course, have both refereed in the CFL, so loads of experience on the officiating team for this very important matchup between the BC Lions and the Edmonton Eskimos. And the Lions will receive the opening kickoff. Darnell Clash is back there along with Evan Jenkins. Tom Dixon will get this game underway for the Eskimos. The Eskimos coming into this one at 10-4. The Lions 11-3. The game is underway. Dixon into the corner where Evan Jenkins takes it. He gets out to the 30-yard line, where the BC Lions will scrimmage 1st and 10. Jeff Treflin was downfield for the Eskimos to make the tackle.
59-yard kickoff. Well, Roy DeWalt, the quarterback, 21 touchdowns and only 11 interceptions. Kevan Jenkins needs, about 40 yards to get 1,000 yards rushing. So a lot of things on the line. Big game for the Lions. Receivers, Fernandez, what can you say? He's had an outstanding year, excellent crew of receivers, and what an offensive line they had. John Blaine is Shenley nominee for outstanding lineman. He anchors it 3rd year in a row, I believe, for him.
And the injured player for the Edmonton Eskimos on the opening kickoff is Chris Skinner. You hate to see that happen, a ball player go down on the opening kickoff.
Well, especially Chris Skinner, because we're not sure whether him or Milson Jones is going to start at that running back position. And Milson Jones has been bothered all week by an ankle, and we watched him, Steve, in the warm-up, and he didn't do very much. So we would have been anticipating Skinner getting the nod, and here in the first play, he's injured. Let's hope it's not too bad and he's ready to go.
And, of course, the other Edmonton running back is Larry Cowan, and he, too, is coming off the injury list. He's been bothered by a pulled hamstring and then a mysterious ankle ailment. So the Edmonton Eskimos in quite a bit of difficulty in terms of filling the running back position.
Well, this is the Edmonton Eskimo defense, and what a year they finally put together from about the halfway point on. Andre Feinstead has been a big addition along with James Zachary. The linebackers, Craig Schaefer is an outstanding football player. Danny Bass having a good year. Everybody knows about Stuart Hill. And in the secondary, Laurent Delaurier with 7 interceptions. He's the anchor back there.
1st and 10, BC Lions from their own 29-yard line. First offensive play of the ball game, and DeWalt goes to Robinson. Robinson picks up a yard, maybe. And a flag goes down well after the play. Darrell Hall in there to make the stop for the Eskimos.
I didn't see what happened, but we're going to get a roughing call against the Eskimos. It had to happen a long way away from the play.
And that moves the ball all the way up to the Lions' 45-yard line.
Edmonton, number 91, 1st down.
into a pine set. That's not a great beginning. The Lions are notoriously for coming out of the blocks in a hurry. They've got to survive it. Jackie wouldn't be too happy about that.
Kevan Jenkins, the ball carrier for the Lions, tries to turn the corner. Trick cut as soon as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Don Kuhne in there to make the stop for the Eskimos.
Had a nice talk with Don before the game down on the field. Really happy with the way this team's come back after those 2 losses to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and he's really happy to have the chance to control his own destiny that you talked about.
2nd and 9 Lions. DeWalt firing complete over the middle to John Pankratz, but he will not have enough for the first down. Laurent Delorier, the UBC grad, in to make the tackle for the Eskimos.
Well, I think Coach Parker will be really happy with that first defensive effort by that unit because of the fact, as we said earlier, Steve, that the BC Lions love to come out of the blocks early in the football game and jump on you in a hurry. And the longer you can stay with them, the better your chances are of beating them.
Number 2 is Jeff Treflin. And Chris Woods deep to receive this punt from Louis Pasaglia, who's averaging 45 yards to kick. Angles it over to the sidelines where Treflin watches it go out of bounds. So rather than risk having the Eskimos return the ball,
well, Matt Dunnigan is back after that sore elbow, and as I look down there, it looks like Milton Jones instead of Chris Skinner. So Skinner must have been a little bit more injured than we thought so. Receivers, 88 receptions for the wideouts. Woods and Kelly only 38 inside. And the offensive line, who's done a great job of run blocking for this Eskimo team, will be tested today.
And starting for the first time in 2 games is Matt Dunnigan. Dunnigan under pressure early from the Lions front 4, scrambles, doing a magnificent job in getting away, and finally fires the pass off. Larry Crawford leading the rush for the BC Lions, but Dunnigan did a marvelous job in escaping the pressure.
Well, it's a surprise to see a safety blitz on the very first play of the football game. I guess they're going to try to get to Dunnigan early, try to contain him, but you saw his athletic ability. 4 different people missed him, and he still got the pass away and was ruled incomplete.
Second and 16 for the Eskimos. This is complete to Milton Jones, and Jones gets to the 35-yard line. Mel Bird coming over to make the stop for the Lions.
Yeah, Mel Bird moving into the inside halfback position this week. Andre Jones is on the reserve list. Of course, Bird's no rookie in there, 6 interceptions. You look at all the time. They do a good job up front. He just stands there, looks around, and is finally forced to go outside, but Mel Bird's there to grab Milton Jones, and so they have to punt the football away.
3rd and 4 for the Eskimos. I believe I said 2nd and 16. It was indeed 2nd and 10. Now 3rd and 4. Brings on Tom Dixon, the punter. Darnell Clash waiting for that, and he'll have to wait all day because that goes out of bounds over the Eskimos bench. So we are still awaiting our first score here at Commonwealth Stadium between the Lions and Edmonton. Today in the CFL, it was indeed the Montreal Concord defeating and eliminating the Toronto Argonauts from playoff contention. That game ending just moments ago, 17-3 in favor of the Concord. And there's Matt Dunnigan, obviously talking to the spotting crew. And across the field, a look at Roy DeWalt, conferring with Merv Fernandez and Jim Sandusky on the sidelines. That last punt by Tom Dixon, a bit of a disaster, traveling only 16 yards. Those are pretty impressive statistics for Roy DeWalt against the Edmonton Eskimos. The BC Lions hoping that he can come up with those kind of stats again today in this all-important game here at Commonwealth Stadium.
Well, there's Chris Skinner. That's the guy we've been looking forward to play today, and he's second-year man from Bishops, but it's not looks like he's going to get in there for a while, maybe next series.
1st and 10 Lions on the Eskimos 51. Good field position to give to Kevan Jenkins, and he battles his way just shy of the 50-yard line. John Mandrich in to make the tackle for the Eskimos.
Well, that defense has stopped that draw play there to Jenkins. He needs 3 yards to get 1,000 John Mandrich there, but also the guy that should be there, Danny Bass, the middle linebacker's got to read that draw, and when he reads it, he's got to come up and meet it.
It's a gain of 1, 2nd and 9. DeWalt under pressure. He's brought down. Danny Bass leading the charge for the Eskimos.
Well, 2nd and long yardage. You got to throw the football. That means you need time. There comes the blitz. Number 30, Danny Bass, makes the tackle on the draw, turns around and blitzes the quarterback. That's the kind of effort you need in big games.
Danny Bass came into this game with 66 individual tackles, and that was a big one right there, number 67. Louis Pasaglia getting set to punt now for the Lions. The Eskimos have one man back, and it's number 74, Chris Woods. And again, Pasaglia aims for the left corner, gets a good bounce, a Lion bounce. Woods will pick this up at the 4 and run out of bounds at the 6-yard line, where the Edmonton Eskimos will scrimmage 1st and 10.
Chris Woods returning the punt.
Well, this BC Lion defense, as you talked about in the pregame, what a year. Parker and Mike Gray, 12 and 11 sacks just with those two, 7 each by Klassen and Hebler, so they definitely should be called the sack attack. Excellent group of linebackers. Glenn Jackson, I think, gets better every year. And in the secondary, we said before that Mel Bird's the only change that we've seen since the last time we saw the Lions. But that's really no change because he can play it.
The Lions come into this game averaging 30 points a game. The Eskimos have averaged 27.3. 1st and 10 for Matt Dunnigan and the Eskimos. Fires intending that one for number 70, Brian Kelly. It's incomplete. Darnell Clash doing a good job covering for the Lions.
This is a situation right here you don't want to ever get into, or you try to stay away from, I guess, against the Lions. 2nd down, long yardage, because that's when those 4 guys up front are, you know, they're coming after the sack, and then occasionally they're going to blitz somebody with them. So you try to stay out of 2nd and long situations against the Lions. Let's see how they go after them.
2nd and 10 Eskimos from their own 6-yard line. No score. Flag goes down. Dunnigan escapes the pressure. Out to the 10. The 15, and dives for the 1st down. He may have it, depending on where they mark him.
Dunnigan brought down by Glenn Jackson.
In winning their 7th straight games, the Eskimos have outscored the opposition 198-97. Pretty impressive point totals.
That time, Steve, they...
Outside, Edmonton number 74, 2nd down repeated.
On that particular play, they had Nelson Martin up front to fake the blitz and then dropped out into the zone. Dunnigan does what he does so well. This is what makes him the football player that he is, his ability to scramble and go after that 1st down. He had it there and he lost it. Now we'll see if they blitz him.
So it'll be down over 2nd and 13. The ball on the 3-yard line. 10:09 remaining to play in the opening quarter. Dunnigan intending that for Howlett. Howlett did a bit of a juggling act, but couldn't hang on to it.
Boy, they really tried to hide that one. They had Nelson Martin clear on the right side of the field, and then just before the snap, he took over there and they blitzed Larry Crawford, and that went to the right receiver. They went to the guy they had to go to, but it was thrown behind him.
Third best punter in the CFL so far this season. Darnell Clash getting set to receive this, standing at the Eskimos' 39-yard line. Good high punt by Dixon. Lots of hang time. Back at the 50. Running backwards instead of forwards. Trying to pick up a few blocks. Gets a good block. And then is forced out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So with 9 minutes and 38 seconds remaining to play in the opening quarter, we're still looking for our first score.
Clash is a great punt returner, but watch the help he's going to get here from the left side. Keith Gooch, number 18, is going to appear on the left side of that screen. And he makes a block on Cliff Toney, and that's what you need to get good punt return. That's why Clash has got over 1,000 yards.
And a very valuable weapon he has become for the BC Lions in returning kickoffs and punt returns. Now the Lions 1st and 10 from the Eskimos' 45. No score, 9:32 to play in the opening quarter. The ball pumped once, sends it deep, and it was intended for Murph Fernandez, and it wasn't long by much.
Well, Chris Skinner, that's the guy we were talking about that we thought for sure was going to get the start today and got injured on the opening kickoff. Second year running back. He was probably anxious to get that opportunity to start, but they got to get that ankle strapped up pretty good. Boy, on that play, Fernandez run an out move on number 5 over there, Mark Jackson, and Jackson bid on it, and Fernandez just went flying by. Boy, he's dangerous, isn't he?
He has enormous speed. 2nd and 10 on the Eskimos 45. DeWalt this time under pressure will not get time to throw the ball. Is sacked by James Zachary.
Well, James Zachary is one of the guys that Coach Parker was talking about yesterday. They felt when he was acquired and come onto this defensive line, he gave them some of the experience that they need. He's had CFL experience with Montreal. He leads them in there. And when it's 2nd down and 10, you got to have time to throw it. He didn't have enough time.
And that moves the ball all the way back to the 52-yard line. So the Lions are 3rd and 17, which brings on Louis Quisaglia. Not one of his longer punts. Treflin will take this at his 10. Gets to the 11-yard line where he runs into the arms of Kevin Konar. So once again, the Edmonton Eskimos will have 4 field position when the offense comes along.
Jeff Treflin.
It's not a great place to start when you're backed up in your own end, but I know this. They have to be pleased with the performance of their defense so far because the BC Lions have had field position, haven't been able to do anything with it because of, well, that play by Zachary and the sack by Bass and things like that, they're going to have the shot if they get a couple of first downs and maybe change this field position around.
Larry Cowan and Milson Jones are the running backs as Donegan sprints out, passes, and in and out of the arms of Chris Woods. That was a catchable ball. Keith Gooch was covering on the play for the Lions.
Pretty
that
good
was well
throw.
thrown.
Pretty good throw running to his left. He had James Parker chasing him from behind and Glenn Jackson coming at him, and yet he just let it go and put it in an area where I think Chris Woods could have caught that football.
8:15 to play in the opening quarter. Still no score. Eskimos against the Lions. First place very much on the line here at Commonwealth Stadium. It will not be decided today, but it will go a long way towards deciding first place. 2nd and 10. Fumble. The ball is loose.
Well, you know, Damon Allen, he'd love to be in there playing today, but I guess he can understand it. Dunningham's back ready to go. He sure has played a couple good football games when he was in there. Well, Milson Jones is going to just drop the ball. The ball's put into his stomach, and as he starts to run, he loses it. Very fortunate to get it back. Don't turn it over down there.
Milson Jones did not practice with the Eskimos this week, and that is one of the things that you're likely to see. The timing is just off by a fraction.
And also, Dunnigan didn't practice last week, so when they just haven't been together for a while.
Good punt by Tom Dixon, a booming punt that sends Darnell Clack back inside his 40. Again, he's looking for running room, gets a good block, tries to cut it up, picks up a couple of yards, gets to the 38-yard line where the Lions will scrimmage 1st and 10 with 7:24 remaining to play in the opening quarter, and there's still no score. There to follow the road to the Grey Cup in Montreal with CBC. We'll have the Eastern semifinal, as Brian pointed out, November the 10th, and the Western final involving either one or both of these teams, November the 17th. 7:20 remaining to play in the opening quarter. 1st and 10 Lions from their own 39. The give to Keevan Jenkins. He crosses the 41-yard line and a fumble. And the Eskimos have recovered the first big turnover of the game. John Manrich may have got a hand in there on Keevan Jenkins, who is still down and slow to get up. He is holding his knee.
Well, you see just a draw trap. He's got those linemen coming, but he takes the hit. The ball bounces free, and it's recovered by the Eskimos, and Keevan Jenkins is still down on the field, and he was holding the back of his leg, and that's not a great sign for anybody. You know, we said a minute ago, the Eskimos could make a couple first downs and switch this field position around. I wasn't anticipating a fumble, but they just made like 70 yards of field position on one play.
A big turnover for the Edmonton Eskimos, the first of the game.
Now we're going to take a look at it. You see the backside coming around, trying to get him a home. Mandridge, good hit the ball with the left hand. Now we see him go down. Mandridge had hold of his leg, and Danny Bass finished him off.
James Bell, the man who recovered the fumble for the Eskimos, and Key Van is being helped off the field by John Henry White and John Blaine. And that's an injury the BC Lions can ill afford. An anxious Don Matthews looking on as Key Van comes off. And now the Eskimos are 1st and 10 from the Lions' 42-yard line. Dunnigan, quick swing pass to Chris Woods. And he is forced out of bounds at about the 38-yard line by Mel Bird.
Everybody likes to throw those screens to the flanker, and I guess when you got a guy like Chris Woods with all the speed that he has, it doesn't take much of a hole for him to break it. But back into the short side of the field is a little more difficult to gain yards.
Chris Skinner is into the ball game, number 35 for the Eskimos. He hurt his ankle on the opening kickoff as the Lions bench worked on Key Van Jenkins. 2nd and 6 for the Eskimos. The gift of the first man fumble. The Eskimos have fumbled, and the BC Lions have recovered. So a couple of quick turnovers, and it was Chris Skinner fumbling the ball.
Well, we've had a fumble by Milson Jones and a fumble by Chris Skinner. And Matt Dunnigan has not played in the last couple of games, but see, the ball's in there. I don't think he was expecting to take it. The ball was put right on the belt buckle, but he didn't close the arm over the top, and that ball came loose.
So the BC Lions are now 1st and 10 from their own 37. DeWalt has the pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. Tremendous amount of pressure from Tom Tuanay. And Ryan Potter is into the ball game for the BC Lions, replacing Key Van Jenkins, who wears number 33. 2nd and 10 now for BC. DeWalt is sacked. James Bell with a ferocious hit on Roy DeWalt.
Boy, that was a great hit. When you blitz a halfback on the blind side or the back side, that's what you wanted to happen. And he came through clean, and DeWalt was just looking the other way, and he leveled him. That's the way you draw it on the board. Boy, watch the hit coming. Oh, look at DeWalt looking downfield. He's got that body open. Bang. You see DeWalt's head pop. You'll feel that one for a while.
At the start of this game, we talked about the tremendous pressure the BC Lions defense can exert. How about the Eskimos' pressure? 1st and 10 now for the Eskimos from the 30. Larry Cowan picks up a couple of yards, tripped up there by James Parker.
Play took a little bit long to develop in the backfield. Those BC Lions can read that, but when you sprint that far to hand it off, they're coming with you. You know, they're going to follow Dunnigan.
That man is enjoying a super game for the Edmonton Eskimos so far. James Bell.
Not bad. A great hit on a quarterback, which you know he liked, and recover a fumble. Why not?
2nd and 8 for the Eskimos from the BC Lions 28-yard line. 5:10 remaining to play in the opening quarter. Dunnigan wants to pass. Deep into the end zone, intending for Chris Woods. Touchdown!
Keith Gooch down there complaining about pass interference, but I don't think so. Chris Woods just went to the football. He saw the ball in the air and cut back underneath. He's complaining about being pushed, but we'll see. We're going to see Dunnigan throw. He gets rid of it just in time. The rush is coming. Now watch Chris Woods will come back underneath Gooch. He does give him a little shot, but when the ball's in the air, he's going to the football. Gooch had his back turned on it. Maybe we'll see it from the end zone. Maybe we'll get a little better look. You see Keith Gooch trying. He just never found it. Woods found the ball, spotted it, and went to it. That's what a receiver's supposed to do.
The Edmonton Eskimos draw first blood here at Commonwealth Stadium. And the convert attempt from Tom Dixon is good. So the Edmonton Eskimos go in front by a count of 7-0 with 5 minutes and 3 seconds remaining to play in the opening quarter.
Well, Steve, I think a lot of people do that if you can hang with the BC Lions early, you have the chance to beat them. They like to jump on you in a hurry, force you to play catch-up. Now it's their turn to play catch-up. And so far, the Edmonton defense, I think, has monopolized them. They are handling the BC Lion offense.
The first report on Keevan Jenkins is that he has a strained knee. They have put ice on it now to take the swelling down. You can see it's the left knee of Jenkins. He came into this game with 960 yards rushing, averaging 5.1 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns rushing, and 3 TDs passing. Roy DeWalt's on his feet after taking that big hit. Tom Dixon kicking off following the touchdown. And this is Larry Crawford at the 20, the 25. Still on his feet, the 30, crosses the 35, gets to the 37-yard line, where the BC Lions will scrimmage 1st and 10 with 4:57 to play in the opening quarter. Edmonton on top, 7-0.
Down by Craig Schaefer.
Well, that Eskimo defense, let's just see if they can hang in there. Coach Matthews knows they'd like to get a touchdown. They don't want to get down too far. They don't want to turn it over on this drive. They want to make something happen positive.
DeWalt, complete to John Henry White. And White gets out to the 49-yard line where it runs into James Bell.
Ball's pass complete to John Henry White.
That's what I like. When they drop those linebackers deep, just release that back out underneath them and hit them on 1st down. If you get 6 yards, fine. But on that one, you got a 1st down. You got 10.
Take what they'll give you.
Don't force it into the zone. There's too many people back there.
Ryan Potter, number 33, in the game for the BC Lions, replacing Keevan Jenkins. John Henry White, the ball carrier, crosses the 50. Gets up to the 53-yard line where he's brought down by John Mandrich.
You know, it looked like he was going to have some running room. He got good blocking at the point of attack, but Mandrich just fell off, and when he cut right in where the hole should be, Mandrich was waiting on him.
Gain of 3 with 2nd down and
Pick up of 3 yards on the play. The 2nd and 7 from the 52-yard line. BC trails 7-0. 3:51 to play in the opening quarter. DeWalt with some time, now forced out of the pocket, has to turn it up, still on his feet. And gets down to the 51-yard line of the Eskimos, where James Zachary was applying tremendous pressure all throughout the backfield on DeWalt.
This is what Roy DeWalt did early in his career, but it seemed like when he injured that foot last year, he hasn't run that much, but as the season's gone along, he's ran a little bit more, and on this one, he's going to be very, very close to that 1st down, and that's a big plus for the BC Lions.
And I think that makes the BC Lions offense that much more effective when DeWalt decides to run.
Well, I think anytime your quarterback can run a little bit, he has that threat on 2nd down and 7 that if they drop off there, he can get the 1st down, and DeWalt's a big guy anyway. He's got good size, and he's always had good speed. That's after all, he's drafted as a running back in the NFL, so you know he can run.
1st and 10 Lions from the Eskimos 51. DeWalt under pressure again. Gets away and finally gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Tom Cooney over there to make the tackle for the Eskimos. Good pressure again from that Eskimos defense.
They are putting pressure on him. Watch the pocket collapse. Those 4 guys get good pressure, force him to step up. He's not as quick as Dunnigan, but he gets the job done. 2 spins and away he goes. If he could escape Cooney, he had a lot of yards in front of him, but make that open field tackle.
2nd and 10 for the Lions on the Eskimos 51. DeWalt passing complete to Fernandez. Fernandez had the ball at the 40-yard line. Now it depends where they mark it. It'll be very close to a 1st down, but I believe it'll be just short.
What they do is they take the inside receiver and they'll break the inside receiver across the field, and then that gives them one-on-one coverage with Fernandez outside. And when you have one-on-one with Fernandez, you are in trouble. You see the receiver disappear, nothing underneath. Watch the ball. When he comes back to the football with his great speed, you have to get off of it. That's not a good sign.
Keevan Jenkins being taken off the field, put on the golf cart, and will be taken to the Lions dressing room. That takes a key element away from the BC Lions offense when Keevan is not in there. Roy DeWalt on the quarterback sneak, attempting to pick up the first down. He only had inches to go. Craig Schaefer may have been a little bit early in trying to penetrate for the Eskimos. The flag was down. And that is the call.
Offside. Edmonton number 43. First down.
So it gives the BC Lions the first down, keeps the drive alive. 2:21 remaining to play in the opening quarter. Edmonton in front, 7-0, but the BC Lions are first and 10 from the Eskimos' 36-yard line. DeWalt wants to go long to Fernandez. Touchdown!
He just lulled Darrell Hall to sleep. He went down the field with that long looping stride of his and turned and looked at DeWalt, and Darrell Hall came to a stop, and then bang, he just exploded right by him. That is a great move, and that's why Fernandez is the receiver that he is. Can't really see what he does, but look at the blocking. It's time to lay it out there, and look how far he is behind him. Once he gets even with you, that's the same as being by you. He'll just throw it away. He'll go away from the defensive back easy. One more look. That was funny when he went down there and just came to a little bit of a pause, and Darrell Hall came to a stop, and bang, he was gone.
And the convert attempt from Luke Saglia is good, so that ties the game at 7. The kind of game we expected to see here in Edmonton this afternoon as we look at Merv Fernandez, who picks up his 12th TD of the season.
Trying to bring the wind back. 1,465 yards, and he must have got about 30 on that one. 84, 85 receptions now. It's not bad.
Vancouver number 1, says Merv Fernandez, as a concerned Jackie Parker looks on. And that play was just like it's diagrammed in the playbook.
When you have a guy like Fernandez and you're asking one defensive back to stop him, I think you're asking a little bit too much. That's when you hope those guys up front can get to that quarterback, because if they don't, it's almost impossible to stop them.
Saglia kicking off following the touchdown. Jackson fumbles it, can't pick it up, finally finds it, and then fumbles it again. Still loose, and the BC Lions finally recovering. Nelson Martin falling on the ball, so the BC Lions knocking at the door with a quick turnover following the kickoff.
He had trouble with that right from the starter when that ball hit the ground and came free. John Ulmer, the linebacker, Ed Ulmer's son, watch this. The ball's going to come free after he does pick it up. Ulmer's going to make a good play. Watch, he drops it again. 44 is going to try to push it ahead. He tries to push it ahead, and Nelson Martin gets it. If he can get it away from there, he has the chance for the touchdown. So you don't give the Lions this easy of a break, big break.
First and goal to go for the Lions from the Eskimos' 8-yard line. DeWalt under pressure, gets it away. And a flag goes down. Pankratz was in the area, as was Jim Sandusky.
They're going to call for intentional grounding the ball because he was on his way down.
They're literally grounding the ball.
I was watching downfield when John Pankratz tried to break outside. They grabbed hold of him. But watch the pressure. DeWalt, they're trying to get Pankratz in the flat. Figure he's down.
Nobody in the area, nobody close enough to the ball. 2nd and 20. Touchdown! Roy DeWalt, a second straight strike to Merv Fernandez.
Well, when you get down near that goal line and you know you have to have a touchdown or you need a big play, go to a guy that can do it for you, and why not Fernandez? You've been doing it all year. Why change now? Look at the room that Darrell Hall gave him. I'd give him room, too. I might be downtown waiting on him. Doesn't take long to throw this one. You're going to get rid of it in a hurry. Awful easy.
And the convert from Louis Pasaglia, as usual, is automatic. So the BC Lions climb on top of the Eskimos by a touchdown, 14-7, with 1:22 remaining to play in the opening quarter. And it has been 2 strikes from Roy DeWalt to this man, number 24, Merv Fernandez, that has done the job.
He just split the zone. James Bell was the deep man. Too much room for Merv Fernandez. Can't give him that much room, but You know, this has been the trademark of the Lions all year. Very explosive. Like, I think back to that Montreal game at Olympic Stadium. Montreal appeared to have that game all won, and all of a sudden, bang, they put the points on the board so fast, make your head swim.
The BC Lions nominee for outstanding player in the CFL is Murph Fernandez as Pisaglia kicks off. Following the touchdown, this time Jackson gets the ball and hangs on. Looking for running room, gets to the 21-yard line. John Ulmer, the 44, is downfield to make the stop for the Lions. Not a bad quarter.
He just takes everything in stride, doesn't he? I rode up on the elevator with him and Mel Bird this morning. He asked me if we had a warm coat for the press box here. I said, we don't need one up there. He said, well, you want to know if we could borrow it.
I'll tell you, he's hotter than a firecracker right now. He needs nothing to heat him up.
And so are the BC Lions. And this is why we said a while ago the Lions needed something in their favor. Now the Eskimos need it.
First and 10 Eskimos from their own 21. Dunnigan pumps once. He got an arm on him. Escaped the clutches of Nick Hebler, but he can't get by number 77, Mike Gray.
This is one of their favorite plays. They love to swing that back out of the backfield, dump him the ball, get those linemen in front of him and run. While the BC Lions have the films, they watched that play, and they got out there, and he couldn't throw it to him, so he did the next best thing. I'll just run behind that line.
Picks up about 6 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 4 Eskimos from their own 27-yard line. 37 seconds remaining to play in the opening quarter. Dunnigan keeps it himself and is close to the first down. They'll probably call for a measurement on this one. It's that close.
Oh, they always talk in college football about a veer. That's just about what it is. They faked it a dive back, and then it's just an option with the quarterback. He made the read and cut inside. Of course, he loves to do that.
Few quarterbacks in the CFL do it better than Matt Dunnigan.
I really can't think of any that would do it any better than he does, except maybe Allen. You know, Damon Allen. They have both of them that can do that.
It'll be 3rd down and less than a yard to go, Edmonton.
Well, Jackie Parker electing to gamble. Less than a yard to go. 25 seconds remaining to play in the opening quarter. Edmonton trailed the BC Lions by a converted touchdown, 14-7.
Roy Shivers, assistant coach for the BC Lions, checking out some special teams and things with those players over there, make sure they have their assignments.
Dunnigan needed only inches, and he has it easily. Safest play in football when you need less than a half a yard. Quarterback sneak.
Yeah, we always talk about, you know, if it's a yard or less, why the quarterback should carry it. Very simple. One, there's not a handoff, so you eliminate the chance of a fumble, which we've seen happen a couple times to do. Two, you're right up on the line of scrimmage and get in behind that lineman. You don't have to come from 4 yards deep to get there. So, the advantages are there for that quarterback to do that, and that's something they need to learn to do when they come into this league.
First and 10 Eskimos from their own 32. This should be the last play of the opening quarter. Nelson Jones, the ball carrier, picks up a couple of yards, no more. Nelson Martin over there to make the stop, and there goes the gun to end the first quarter of play here at Commonwealth Stadium. The Lions lead by 7, 14-7. To Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, I'm Steve Armitage, along with Ronnie Lancaster. Brian Williams is the CFL control. Ronnie, this is a good one. I'm enjoying this.
Well, you know, you look forward to games like this. When you got two real good football teams, you can't help but get excited.
Dunnigan just puts it up, looking for Marco Sinkart, incomplete. Bruce Barnett was covering on the play for the Lions. Well, this is how they put the points on the board in the opening quarter. The Eskimos started it, Dunnigan to Woods, and then Roy DeWalt and Murph Fernandez combined to put 2 straight TDs up for the BC Lions, and that gives them their 14-7 lead. Statistically, this is the story from the first quarter. 2 turnovers each, but the BC Lions have turned one of theirs into their leading touchdown margin, 14-7. A 3rd and 10 situation for the Eskimos. Tom Dixon will get this away from his own 17. Long count. Darnell Clash at his own 35. And he gets up to the 44-yard line, where he runs into Frank Balkovec.
Nick Hebler, 7 quarterback sacks. One of that fearsome front four. The way he smiles like that, you wouldn't think he was that tough, would you? Or be that mean.
See you in the playoffs.
See you in the playoffs, says Nick Hebler. The way they're playing right now, that's a certainty. Gives to Ryan Potter, the first man through, and he battles his way up across the 45-yard line. .13:51 remaining to play till halftime. The Lions in front of the Eskimos 14-7. Second and 7. DeWalt, good time, passes over the middle, complete to Pankratz, and Pankratz gets down to the 53-yard line. Danny Bass over to make the stop for the Eskimos.
I was watching Mark Jackson, the cornerback, you know. I mean, they've gone to Fernandez a couple times. He came up to the line of scrimmage and tried to hit him. Fernandez just jumped around him, and he's going down the sidelines again if he wanted to throw it to him.
DeWalt over the middle, in and out of the hands of Ryan Potter.
You could see Ryan Potter, before the ball got there, he had turned and looked upfield, and you could actually see it. He just didn't look that ball into his hand.
He said to himself, the moment I take this ball, I know I'm going to get hit.
So I won't take it.
He dropped it.
Well, 2nd and 10.
And the ball is on the 53-yard line of the Eskimos. DeWalt intending that for Jim Sandusky, and it's incomplete. But a flag is down in the Lions' backfield. An interesting story on Sandusky. He has 6 100-yard-plus games this year. 5 of them have been on the road. On the road, his average has been 102 yards per game, 33 yards per game at home. How do you explain that one?
Holding. BC number 33. Penalty declined. 3rd down.
I can't explain it. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. To me, you're in an offense, you're a receiver. It really doesn't matter where you play. I know this. He only needs 60 yards to get 1,000, and that would be the first time ever that the Lions have had 2 1,000-yard receivers in the same year.
Very close in the punting department between Louis Pasaglia and Tom Dixon. Good punt from Pasaglia, very high, and it will be taken by Wood. He took it at the goal line, still on his feet at the 21-yard line before he tripped up. So we've got 12 minutes and 13 seconds remaining to play till halftime. BC leading the Eskimos 14-7. Racing the Breeders' Cup, the world's best horses going head-to-head all afternoon on Sports Weekend. That's next weekend. 12-13 remaining to play till halftime. The Lions leading Edmonton 14-7. And they've got a few fans that have made the trip all the way from Vancouver. Bought a couple of cans of paint. First and 10 Eskimos. And that time it's complete to Brian Kelly. And a flag goes down. He was rushed up by Larry Crawford after he made the reception. And Kelly is shaken up.
That was an excellent throw by Dunning at number 1. He anticipated Kelly's break to that out pattern to the sideline, and he threw it before Brian ever turned. And Brian got roughed up a little bit over there, and Crawford knocked him out of bounds. Having a few words with Crawford, which is normal. You don't ever want to see.
Unnecessary roughness, BC number 28. First down.
When you do something to one of your ball players on the sideline in front of your bench, you know you're going to catch it. See, the ball was thrown very nice. Laid it out there early. Makes the catch. Now, let's see what happens. Steps out of bounds. Oh.
Brian Kelly, one of the keys to the Eskimos offense. And a big sack. Tyrone Cruz, number 91, leading the sack attack for the BC Lions. That's the kind of pressure that Don Matthews wanted his defense to exert all afternoon in this one.
Yeah, I've been a little surprised, too. They are blitzing Dunnigan an awful lot. And it doesn't seem to matter whether it's first down, second down. It looks to me like they have said, we're going to get to this guy in a hurry. And Tyrone Cruz just did it.
A loss of 7 yards on the play as the Eskimo training staff continue to work on Brian Kelly, who went down out of bounds with a little help from Larry Crawford. 2nd and 17, the ball on the 41. Dunnigan trying to set up the screen. And it's Nelson Martin, number 4, who came up with a sack for the Lions.
Well, they've done this a couple times today. They did it on the last play of the first quarter. Watch this man again. He times it about as well as you can. And on this play, Nelson Martin will make the sack. They want to throw the screen pass, but watch how fast Martin comes through a wide open gap, and they just can't get rid of the football. When Dunnigan wanted to throw it, the receiver wasn't looking, and he didn't have time for the second pump because he was all over him. Nelson Martin.
He was a quarterback for the SFU Klansmen, has since become a very important member of the BC Lions defensive secondary. Don Dixon to punt, flag goes down, partially blocked off the side of Dixon's foot, taken by Darnell Clash at the 54-yard line. Could be early movement on the part of the BC Lions in attempting to get at Dixon.
Yeah, on that particular play right here, when you're offside on a punt, they had a punt block on. So they all have specific assignments to open an alley for somebody to come through and break it and block the punt. Got a little bit anxious. It's not going to bother them. They're still going to have to punt. It's 3rd and about an acre.
10:33 remaining play till halftime. Lions in front, 14-7.
Offside. BC is declined. It'll be a first down.
Plenty of excellent action still to come from Commonwealth Stadium. BC in front by 7. Minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the second quarter. BC in front of Edmonton, 14-7. The Eskimos declining that penalty as we look at Nelson Martin on the bench, and it has given the BC Lions a 1st and 10 situation from their own 53-yard line. Brian Kelly receiving help from the training staff on the bench. DeWalt pumps once, gives to John Henry White, and White crosses the midfield stripe, brought down by Danny Bass.
Well, a little wrinkle you add every now and then. They love to throw that quick hitch out there to Fernandez, so DeWalt just stands up, fakes it real quick, and then hands it to John Henry White coming around, hopefully to draw that Eskimo defense, because if you're looking in Fernandez's direction, they better get there.
If you joined us late and were wondering why Ryan Potter and John Henry White are the running backs of the BC Lions, Keevan Jenkins was injured, has a sprained knee, and is in the dressing room. DeWalt completing to John Pankratz, and he'll be close to the first down. Again, depending on where they mark the reception. Pankratz is convinced it's a first down, but he has little to say about it. And he was right.
First down, it'll be first and 10 BC, the ball on the Edmonton 47.
One of the more than 50,000 on hand here at Commonwealth Stadium this afternoon. He has an excellent position. A little help from the field glasses. First and 10 Lions from the Eskimos 47. DeWalt likes to run and then slides into the 41-yard line, sliding into Craig Schaefer rather than accept the tackle. Quarterbacks have become very adroit at doing that.
Well, I really don't blame Roy DeWalt one bit. When he started upfield to run, and he looked to his right, and there was a green shirt, and he had a green one in front of him and a green one to his left. There's only one safe place, and he found it, down on the ground. And as you see right now, I think it's Mandrich that's down. Him and Schaefer collided going over the top of Roy DeWalt, and that's why you slide. Don't take those hits.
CBC television is definitely the place to be during Grey Cup week, and of course we'll have the Shenley Awards for you. Ernie Afaganis and Pierre Dufault will have that. 8 o'clock in many parts of the country. Sports weekend, we'll have the parade, followed by In Search of a Dream. And then countdown to Grey Cup, and of course the game itself, which should kick off around 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Leo, Don, And Ronnie will be there providing the second half play-by-play, and I'll be on the sideline. 2nd and 4 for the Lions. The ball on the 41. The give to John Henry White. We've seen this one before. Tries to turn it up, but he can't. Danny Bass over to make the tackle on White. Well, sort of the first down.
Well, the toughest block on this particular play has to be made by Ryan Potter, the other remaining back in the backfield, because that defensive end is going to come on his pass rush lane, and it's going to be his responsibility to get him to the inside. It's a hard block to do. You have to hope that fake fools him a little bit, and so far it hasn't fooled him.
Not one bit. Well, Louis Pasaglia will attempt a field goal. His longest this season has been 54, so it's just inside his range, but this one won't be, and it's wide to boot. The Eskimos give up the single point. So the BC Lions now lead the Eskimos 15-7, and we've got 8 minutes and 31 seconds remaining to play until halftime. If I had to pick an offensive game star right now, Ronnie, I think I would go with Merv Fernandez and maybe Nelson Martin defensively for the BC Lions.
Oh, he's played extremely well. I think James Bell's had a good afternoon for the Eskimos. Also up front, Mandrich has played pretty well from that nose guard position. Well, 2 good defenses. We're going to get a lot of good defensive performances. In
a tight game like this, it's always difficult to pick offensive and defensive game stars, but we'll do our best.
Sure, you never know. Ron Robinson could come on. He'll get up off that helmet and go out there and catch 4 touchdowns or something. He's a candidate.
Matt Dunnigan has been over on the bench conferring with head coach Jackie Parker. Brian Kelly, shaken up a few plays ago, is back into the game for the Eskimos, who are now 1st and 10 from their own 44-yard line. They trail 15-7. 8:18 remaining till halftime. Dunnigan is gone, and he fumbles, and Milford jumping on the loose ball for the BC Lions, and it was Crawford who made the initial hit on Cowan.
Well, you cannot put the ball on the ground in big football games, or any game for that matter, but you see Crawford make the hit, comes over Konar, and the ball's loose. The BC Lions have it at midfield, and you know, you're digging yourself quite a hole when you turn the ball over to an explosive team like the Lions.
So another big turnover. Let's see if the BC Lions can capitalize this time. They're 1st and 10, and the ball is at the midfield stripe. Merv Fernandez, will he pass or run? He can do both off of this play. He decides to run it, still on his feet. Picks up about 7 or 8 yards.
Well, we're going to take a look at Merv Fernandez. This is quite a receiver. A lot of people think he may be the best receiver to ever play in Canada, but watch this. He's coming back on the reverse, gets the flip from DeWalt. He got a couple of good blocks up there. He's following Al Wilson. Notice how he just stepped around that one defender. No problem for him.
He was looking to pass. You could tell the way he was looking downfield. A gain of 8, 2nd and 2 from the Eskimos 47. The give to John Henry White. I don't believe he's got the first down.
I don't believe he did.
Defense stacked him up.
I don't believe he got to the 45-yard line. That big white stripe right across the field. That Eskimo defense was right up there.
Led by Tom Tuanay. Danny Bass all doing the job for the Eskimos on that play.
Well, they're going to measure it, but this is a waste of time because he is, I would say, almost 2 yards. Almost.
I think you're right, Mr. Lancaster. Eagle Eye Ronnie has done it again.
They're going to go after this. 3rd down and 2. What do you do now, Coach? You know, as you throw the ball to Fernandez.
I was going to say throw the ball or pitch the ball to Fernandez. He picked up 8 yards on the last carry. 3rd and almost 2. Big play. They try it again to John Henry White, and I believe the Eskimos have come up big once again.
Well, you see number 30 at the bottom of that pile with the arms around John Henry White's leg. That's Danny Bass. What a great defensive performance. He again, I don't think, got to the 45-yard line.
I can't believe that call.
Well, there it is. Danny Bass sitting there, number 30, and he's keying those back. Here he comes. Takes on the man, gets a hold of him, and now gets a lot of help from his friends.
You see, that's where they missed Kevan Jenkins. I think he would have gone over the top.
Well, that could be. That was a great defensive performance by the Eskimos after that fumble.
Well, it gives the Eskimos possession. 1st and 10. Donegan puts it up. It's complete to Chris Woods. And he's forced out of bounds just shy of the midfield stripe. About a yard and a half shy. 6:23 remaining to play till halftime. The Lions on top by 8, 15-7. Gain of 8 yards on that play to Chris Woods.
Put their short yardage in there. Mandrich goes in. Chris Skinner's into the ball game. See what they want to do with it.
Nelson Jones, and he's forced outside. And the BC Lions defense comes up with the big stop.
No chance, and you know Don Matthews would be pleased with that performance as being an old defensive coach. He loves those defenses. They sure shut him down. In fact, they lost yardage. You don't have to punish.
And he knows this part of the country as a former assistant coach with the Edmonton Eskimos during their glory years. Matt Donegan comes off, shaking his head, wondering what he has to do to get a sustained offensive drive going for the Eskimos. Low spiral, a good punt from Todd Dixon. Darnell Class inside his own end zone at the 5. Does a little dance, gets to the 10 and up to the 14-yard line, and he fumbles. A flag goes down, but I believe the Lions recovered.
Yeah, I think Bruce Barnett, number 12, backup defensive back in UBC Thunderbirds.
May have been a late hit after the play.
Came in with a hit, spearing. That looks like what's the sign. That's a good call. Anytime a referee calls spearing, I think it's a great call. Yeah, that's the one thing they want to get out of the game, and I think that's great.
There are many ways to injure a ball player, but that is an easy way.
Major foul. Edmonton spearing, number 50. 1st down.
There's the ball. Ball's free, and Barnett gets the football. Now we'll see it come. Yeah, you can't do that. Don't do that.
DeWalt trying to get the screen pass away, and it's incomplete. Tremendous pressure from the Eskimos front 4 on Roy DeWalt, led by Stu Hill.
You're going to call it an incomplete pass. That's what the fans are booing about. DeWalt was definitely under pressure, and he had the hand up in the air, and the ball went forward, and the referee ruled it a pass. But their pressure was there.
Second and 10 for the Lions from their own 29-yard line. DeWalt firing intended for Bancroft, but it was off target.
Boy, that secondary up that close. They are right up on top of him. You know the heat's coming. They're going to come after him. And Delorier did a great job on John Pancraft. Did not allow him to go by him. The wall anticipated him going by him through it far, and no way. Couldn't get there.
Another injured Edmonton Eskimo player. Knopf seems to be favoring his knee or ankle area. Saglia punting, and he's faking it. He's going to run.
Got all kind of room.
All kinds of room. Has the first down and a ton of yards to spare. Still on his feet. Still got some blocking. Chris Woods finally trips up Louis Saglia, but not before he gets down inside the 15-yard line. For Louis Pasaglia on the fake punt. And that doesn't even bring a smile to Don Matthew's face.
He might not be smiling outside, but he's got to be smiling inside. That is a great play, and I really believe this is Pasaglia's call. I don't think any way that it was called from the bench.
1st and 10 Lions from the 13. DeWalt wants to pass. Had Robinson open, but he overthrew him. Had he underthrown that time, Robinson may have been able to come up with a pass.
He had to throw it in the hole and down low. Yeah, you look at the right side of the screen. There's only one man outside marking the breweries over. Everybody else inside. Now watch on the snap of the ball how they all turn and run. See them, they run out of there, and they're not paying any attention to Pasaglia. So he says, okay, if you don't want to worry about me, I'll just kind of follow you down the field. He's probably never had an easier run. He does a good job of running when he got out there, too, didn't he?
Pasaglia is another former quarterback at FSU. He can run. Roy DeWalt wants to pass. And it's complete to Pancratz. Touchdown!
Well, that's his 4th touchdown reception of the year. You know, Pancratz doesn't get the recognition that guys like Sandusky and Fernandez get, but he's a very reliable receiver. Watch DeWalt. He's going to sprint to his left. Now, Pancratz is on the right side of the screen. He just goes down and breaks to the outside, and DeWalt finds him. Right on the money.
A pair of touchdowns from Roy DeWalt to Merv Fernandez, and now one to John Pancratz. And the BC Lions have opened up a lead over the Eskimos. The convert attempt from Pasaglia is automatic, as always.
We'll take one more look at it. DeWalt's looking over to his left first. Gets good blocking. Fernandez is covered on this side, so he goes backside. Bang. Right on the money. You know, one thing I've been impressed about Roy DeWalt this year is his touchdown-interception ratio. Now, that is 3 touchdown passes today. That's 24. Only 11 interceptions. If you check all the quarterback statistics through the league, very few of them are on the plus side. You know, that's a big statistic because that's turnovers, and DeWalt's very conscious of that. Like, if we look at Dunnigan, 16 touchdowns, but 19 interceptions.
And that last scoring play was all begun by that man, Louis Pasaglia, with a 68-yard fake punt. This time he doesn't fake anything. He kicks it down. Jackson at the 5, at the 10, the 15, 20. Gets out just shy at the 25-yard line, where the Eskimos will have pretty good field position. Ty Cruz downfield to make the stop for the Lions. We've got 3:52 remaining to play. It's BC on top of the Eskimos, 22-7. 3:52 till halftime, that is.
Don's saying I made a great call on that fake punt, didn't I?
I wonder if he did make the call, or I wonder if he left it up to Pasaglia.
On that kind of a play, I think the punter does it, because if you notice the BC offensive line, they wasn't blocking for any fake run. They were just covering the punts, and he was behind them. When they saw him, though, they jumped in and helped.
1st and 10 Eskimos. On the reverse, it's Cowan. He's in trouble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white jerseys over there, led by Rick Classic.
Boy, those BC Lions, they rally to the ball, don't they? As you said, 5 white jerseys around them. That is a great defensive unit, and right now the game is going BC's way because Edmonton has to play catch-up football against one of the toughest defenses in the league, and that's tough.
And that's exactly what Don Matthews wanted to happen. He wanted that lead and then force Edmonton to play catch-up. Skinner is into the ball game for the Eskimos. We're now 2nd and 13. Dunnigan. And it's almost picked off by the BC Lions with a couple of flags going out. Ty Cruz getting a hand on that. So with 2:52 remaining to play till halftime, it's BC's 22. The Eskimos section for Tom Dixon and the Eskimos with 2:46 remaining to play till halftime. Again, it goes off the side of his foot, bounces just shy of the midfield stripe. It's picked up by Larry Crawford, and Crawford gets to the 50-yard line, but a flag goes down.
Larry Crawford.
They were watching Darnell Clash coming forward. Didn't see Crawford come right between them to make that pickup of that bounce on that punt, but it's a good thing he did because Dixon was right behind him coming down the field trying to get his own kick.
It took an Eskimos bounce back towards the Eskimos, and you're right, Tom Dixon did the right thing. He followed up the punt.
No yards. Edmonton, number 15, on the run back. 1st down.
No yards.
And before that, there was a holding penalty against the Eskimos, and that was declined by the Lions, forcing the punting situation for Edmonton. But now it's 1st and 10 Lions from the Eskimos' 37-yard line. They lead 22-7. John Henry White. Stu Hill in to make the initial tackle for the Eskimos at the 35-yard line.
Drop play like that designed to go inside, no hole there, so now it's up to the ball carrier to find a place to run. He looked around and found 2 yards worth.
Again, that's where the BC Lions miss Keevan Jenkins. Oftentimes when the first hole is blocked up, Keevan will find a second and sometimes a third hole, but John Henry White doesn't have that quickness. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. DeWalt firing long, looking for Pankratz, just over his head. About 2 or 3 yards too long. And that should bring on Louis Pasaglia. Do you think he'll do it again?
Well, if you have any kind of trick up your sleeve for faking field goals and things like that, this is a great time to do it with a 22-7 lead. The ball, at the 35-yard line of your opponent. If you have one, this isn't a bad time to use it.
And he can also pass the ball. Keep that in mind.
He's an excellent passer. Well, with that rushing average, we should, give him the ball more often.
And he was very close to getting his 2nd career TD. So he's going to try a field goal. It'll come from the 42-yard line. It's within his range. And it's good. So the BC Lions increase their lead over the Eskimos 25-7 with 2:07 remaining to play till halftime. And as usual, we've got a full and entertaining halftime coming up for you. Brian will have a sports update, and then Hamilton Ottawa highlights, and we'll talk to Joe Gallant as to why he stepped down as coach of the Montreal Concorde. And we'll have a report from today's game between the Concorde and the Argos, which Montreal won and eliminated the Argos from playoff contention in the CFL East. 17-3 was the score in the East. Concorde over the Argos. Here at Commonwealth Stadium, it's 25-7 in favor of the Lions. The Eskimos are 1st and 10 on their own 35. Dunnigan with a good fake. Complete to Chris Woods at midfield. He's down inside the Lions territory, gets to the 50-yard line.
What you have to like on this play is the coolness of Matt Dunnigan. When he came out on that play action, he made a good fake, hid the ball, had no guard with him, so it's naked. Watch, see him looking, he looks at that ball carrier. He didn't look away real quick, he just glides out, and Chris Woods finds the open area. They have a chance to score some points. 2 minutes left, a good field position. They need a touchdown right now, and then the whole game starts over. It'll be a new game.
And that's 44 remaining. The clock is running. Brian Kelly with a great catch for the Eskimos, taking it down inside the 35-yard line.
Well, they tried to safety blitz him again. I believe it was Bruce Barnett. He drills it in the hole. Great catch by Brian Kelly.
He may have been shaken up earlier, but he's certainly showing no effects of it now. That's a 15-yard gain for the Eskimos. They're now 1st and 10 on the Lions' 34-yard line. Minute 26 to play till halftime. Dunnigan sprints left. Under pressure, and it's brought down. Another sack attack. Successful sack attack for the Lions. A fumble on the play, and Rick Clapton recovering for the Lions. Boy, that's a quick way to snuff out a drive, isn't it?
Well, we've seen the Eskimos put the ball on the ground too many times today against a good football team like the Lions. Here, it looked like when Dunnigan was being tackled, he was still looking to maybe get rid of the football, and as a result, he dropped it. I thought right now he's just going to take off and run. He had good blockers in front of him. If he'd have just taken off, he was clear out there. Rod Conniff was in front. But right there, he didn't put the ball away when he was hit. Mike Gray comes up with it, and now the Lions maybe put more points on. Who knows?
We see now 1st and 10 from their own 45. John Henry White straight up the middle, some running room. And he gets down into the Eskimo territory at the 53-yard line. James Bell over to make the tackle. As we look at Michael Gray, the BC Lions Shenley nominee in not one but 2 categories, rookie and defensive player of the year. He is having a super season for the BC Lions. There were many that felt that they would never find a replacement for Mac Moore. They certainly have.
Well, he looks a lot like Mac Moore to me, the way he plays the game. He's just a big, tough guy on that defensive line. But John Henry White, good job by that offensive line. You know, you need experience in places. Offensive line is one. The BC Lions average 9 years experience up front, and that's where it pays off.
James Bell was shaken up on the plate for the Eskimos. His place in the lineup was taken by number 2, Jeff Strickland. First and 10 Lions from the 52. 53 seconds to play. A strike over the middle to Ryan Potter. Danny Bass over to make the stop.
Well, they go to the hurry-up offense now with 49 seconds left. They have time for a lot of plays yet. Explosive as BC is, they'll have a chance to put some points on the board.
Yard short of the first down. They give to John Henry White. Another big hole opens up, and he's down shy of the 30-yard line. He chopped up the ball, but the Lions were able to recover. 40 seconds now to play. As an animated Don Matthews instructs from the sidelines. Well, quick pass to Pankratz, and the Eskimos read that one perfectly and nailed Pankratz for a loss. Cliff Coney leading the charge for the Eskimos.
I don't think the play that Coach Matthews sent in worked too well, did it? Let Roy call this one. 20 seconds. What's he going to do with it?
On the Edmonton 35.
A loss of 3, second and 13. Ball at the 35-yard line. And we get a timeout.
Lions call a timeout.
Called by Don Matthews and the Lions bench.
Kind of surprised there. Steve, he wasted a long time before he did call the timeout.
That gives us time enough to run through some of the college football scores from yesterday. If there's a college game in your area, why don't you get out and take it in? You'll be surprised at how entertaining and how much fun it can be as you review some of the scores from yesterday.
Surprised there. UBC was ranked 10th last week in the country, and Calgary was ranked 1st, 31-24. University of Toronto spoiled McMaster's homecoming, 18-7.
Western continue to roll along. Alberta with a big win over the Saskatchewan Huskies, 32-8.
I'll tell you who you have to be impressed with is Laurier. I'll tell you, I saw them play this year. They got a good football team. Beat Guelph 45-32. You have to have a good team.
Jackie Parker has to be concerned at this point of the game. They trail 25-7.
Field goal. He wouldn't fake this one. He's going to kick this with 8 seconds.
Another 42-yard attempt. He was good on one just a few moments ago. He is good on a second 42-yarder. So that puts the BC Lions on top of the Eskimos, 28-7. And the scoreboard clock indicates we have 2 seconds remaining till halftime.
This is a very important part right there. That hold, you've got to get that ball down. And we know what I noticed when you sit out there, you did not see the laces. Kickers have a real phobia when they look down and see the laces. I heard a story one time where the field goal kicker told the quarterback, if you show me the laces, I'm going to kick you through the goalpost.
I'll tell you one of the reasons why, being a bit of a kicker in my college days, those laces on a wet ball have a tendency to get very heavy and hurt when you make contact.
I'll tell you, kickers don't like those laces. I know that.
This should be the final play of the second quarter, and it ends with the BC Lions with a sack. Nick Hepler leading the charge for the BC Lions. So the two teams make their way into the dressing room. Before we talk about your fake punt, congratulations on the birth of twin boys.
Well, thank you, Steve. I'd like to say hi to my wife, Loa. She's watching, and the boys. I know they're not watching yet, but hi to them, and my girls, Leah and Lauren.
Okay, Louie, let's talk about that fake punt. Did you call it yourself, or did you come in from the bench?
It was just a spur of the moment. In the first quarter, they were going kamikaze with about 11-man rush, but they weren't coming hard, and they were taking off. And Coach Roy Shivers said to hold on to the ball a little bit. So on that particular play, I held onto the ball, and I took a look to the right, and they just took off and ran. So I figured I could get the first down, but I didn't realize I was going to get that far.
What made that play possible, do you think?
Well, I think it was just in their case of trying to get a return for Woods, and they just took off too quickly rather than coming across the line of scrimmage and making me kick the ball.
Louie, is that the longest gain you've ever had on one of your fake punts?
That's the longest gain I think I've ever had in my life. It's a long way to run. I was sucking for about 5 minutes after that run.
Louis, congratulations. Have a good second half.
Thank you, Steve.
Would you please welcome back?
Here at Commonwealth Games Stadium, they have what they call a Wall of Honor, at which time they honor former members of the Edmonton Eskimos. Today, they honor George McGowan, of course, who was a well-known running back for the Eskimos in the 70s and a receiver. And, of course, Frank Anderson, who played for the Eskimos in the 50s and is described as one of the original pass rushers for the Edmonton Eskimos. And the Edmonton Eskimo pass rushers seem to have done their job against the Lions, but unfortunately for the Eskimos offense, it just hasn't been able to get on track.
Well, we said in the opening, Steve, if they weren't able to run the football, they were going to be in trouble today. And 21 yards in the first 30 minutes isn't going to get the job done. Now you're playing catch-up with the BC Lions, and that's trouble. That is real trouble. They have got to get it going right now, get something on the board if they're going to get back in the game. Matt Dunnigan's got to get that offense rolling, and I think he's going to have to do it through the air. I think he can take that running game and wave it bye-bye. One, they put the ball on the ground too many times, Skinner and Milson Jones. And, you know, I was wondering, watching Milson Jones play, there are football players that if they're hurt and they don't practice all week, they just don't perform in the game. And I don't know if Milson's like that, but I've played with one or two over the years. Of course, George Reed wasn't one of them. He played better when he was hurt. But over the years, there are guys that cannot perform on Sunday if they haven't practiced.
Louis Pasaglia kicks off to get this second half underway. BC Lions in front 28-7. And will be Jackson returning it, still on his feet. And he gets off across the 37-yard line. A good kickoff return from Jackson, giving the Eskimos good field position to get this second half underway. And, Ronnie, they needed that.
Yeah, that's what you have to do when you come out trailing 28-7. It's your chance, your decision. They decide to return. They want to return the football. They want the ball in the third quarter. Good return, almost to the 40-yard line, 37-yard line. Good operating field position for Matt Dunnigan. Now it's his turn. Get it out there. Get that thing going.
Nelson Martin takes the blitz. Dunnigan to pass. Under pressure. And he's brought down. First play of the second half, and the BC Lions defense just picked up where they left off in the
Doctorbock class, and he really feels he's been as consistent as anybody he's had on that defensive line. And you just watch him, comes in, gets hold of Dunnigan. And you got hold of you like that, you might as well go down, because Parker's on his way, and so is Gray, and so is Hebler. You're going to take too many hits.
Loss is 7 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 17 from the 30. DeWalt. Skinner dancing around at the 32, but he dances right into the arms of Nelson Martin.
Second down, 18 yards to go. They have to throw the ball in the flat. Very unlikely you're going to get the first down. They might as well run a draw or a screen and hopefully get it that way. But that BC Lion defense isn't going to give you too much.
Wonder what that man said to the Edmonton Eskimos at halftime.
I'm talking to Jackie. He never gets too excited, so I don't know what he'd say. He was real talkative yesterday at the press conference, though.
He was very up. Very excited about this all-important game against the BC Lions. Tom Dixon gets the punt away, taken by Clash at the 30. At the 35, and finally brought down at the 40 after flying through the air by Frank Balkovec. And don't forget the playoffs on CBC. We've got the Eastern semifinal for you on Sunday, November the 10th, followed by the Western final a week later, Sunday, November the 17th. And, of course, the big one itself, Grey Cup, starting at 1:30 Eastern time. So lots of football remaining left on CBC, and the best is yet to come, I'm sure. 13 minutes and 14 seconds remaining to play in the third quarter to give us to John Henry White, and he battles his way up to the 48, 49-yard line. James Bell to make the stop for the Eskimos.
Boy, the guy did the job on that play. It was the old man of that ball club, Al Wilson, just did a great job on Mandrich, and that's where John Henry White ran. He started to his right, and then Wilson just blocked Mandrich as far as he could go, and he cut in behind it. That's a good job. Give that running back a view of a hole somewhere, and he'll find it, and that's what Wilson did.
Lions need 2 yards for the first down. The ball is on the 49. Pick, John Henry. And I'll tell you, that'll be close. I don't think he's got the first down. Stu Hill over to make the stop. A flag is down on the play.
Ryan Parker comes to me at center, please. Ryan Parker.
indication from referee Bud Ulrich is that holding against the Lions.
I'd be almost tempted to decline this penalty and make them punt it.
Holding. BC. Penalty decline. Third down.
3 yards this stage of the ball game. There's no way I think the BC Lions are going to gamble with it. They'll kick it away, and that's what you want. You want the football. You need points. You've got to have the ball to get them.
Chris Woods and Jeff Treflin back to receive this punt from Louis Pasaglia, who will get it away from his 40-yard line. I don't think he'll fake this one. High spiral. Treflin at his 20. Crosses the 25-yard line where he's brought down by Ian Sinclair. 12:07 remaining to play in the third quarter. BC leads 28-7. Team of Vicky Rosberg and Nigel Mansell make it 3 in a row. So find out next Sunday on Sports Weekend. 12:07 remaining to play in the third quarter. It's 1st and 10 for the Eskimos. The ball is on their own 26-yard line. They trail the Lions 28-7. The give is to the second man, Larry Cowan. He picks up 2 or 3 yards.
Right now, the BC Lions defense has just completely shut down the offense of the Eskimos. I don't really believe right now Dunnigan has one play that he can call that he's sure he'll gain yardage with. That's how much the BC Lions have shut him down.
Based on the way Damon Allen played in the last 2 games, I wonder how many minutes will go by before Jackie Parker elects to make the substitution. And Dunnigan, close one over the middle, intended for Howlett. It's incomplete.
Kevin Conard just got his fingertips on to tip it over Howlett's head.
Plenty of paint available in Edmonton in the colors of green and gold. Saw some BC Lion fans earlier. That seems to be the in thing these days, is you paint your face. I have no idea why.
Yeah, next week we're going to paint Leo up like that.
What colors? Tom Dixon getting set to punt. Punt will come from the 20. Darnell Clash, the lone punt returner for the BC Lions. Good punt. Dixon driving Darnell Clash back to his 20.
Look out, Clash!
At the 25. And gets to the 22, where he's stopped by Cliff Stoney. John Omer. Good block for the BC Lions.
You hear all that booing. A lot of fans about John Omer hit the man in the back. There he is. James Parker's got his feather in his hat. Ray Nettles used to have that feather in his hat. They hit about the same.
The chief, James Parker. First and 10 for the Lions from their own 27. DeWalt still a quarterback. Complete to John Henry White. And he's still on his feet, still fighting. Gets up to the 29-yard line. And how you walk up that pass away, I'll never know. He had 4 Eskimos all over him.
And he got the pass, the one that was designed. This is a screen pass to John Henry White. Little play action now. Dump it. 4 of them are right on him. And he's got the screen set. Pretty good job of running by John Henry White, even though he only gained 2 yards.
A pretty good job of Roy DeWalt hanging onto that ball.
Yeah. He doesn't want 4 of them. One's okay.
Only a gain of 2 on the play. DeWalt under tremendous pressure this time. James Bell getting in there and bringing DeWalt down.
Well, what was good about that rush is James Bell come on that halfback blitz, forces DeWalt to step up. When he steps up, you have that converted rush then to close that pocket. Stu Hill gets it.
Tremendous effort by both defenses here this afternoon. The Eskimos have come up with a big play when they had to. Certainly early in the first quarter. And the BC Lions defense took over in the second quarter, shutting down Matt Dunnigan and the Eskimos offense. The second. Oh, and they almost blocked that one. Rex Schaefer. A punt return by Chris Woods into BC territory. The ball is loose. and the Eskimos have recovered.
Well, number one, I don't know how he got the punt away. I thought Schaefer had that one blocked because he came clean. Boy, again, the Eskimos fumble the football. Time you can least expect it or want to, but I guess that's the way it goes. Maybe we'll see Craig Schaefer go flying by. Thought he had it.
They are making routine plays exciting.
Well, like, watch this. I mean, he's got a good return, and there goes the ball. I think Mel Bird knocked it out of his hands, and they were very fortunate to get it back.
So it's 1st and 10 Eskimos from the Lions 40. Dunnigan floats it up. Complete to Cowan. Cowan down to the 17-yard line of the BC Lions.
Well, he just turned Cowan. He went out into the flat and turned it upfield, and then Dunnigan just floated. That was a very nice pass. He just floated it over the top, gets 23 yards with it, and that's the kind of thing they need because the BC Lions were blitzing them again on 1st down. Watch how early he throws it. Puts a lot of air under it. Just lays it up nice and easy. Go get it. There you go. You see Bruce Barnett chasing him.
1st and 10 Eskimos pass over the middle. Complete. Cowan again. This time Kevin Sonar over there to make the tackle for the Lions.
Well, this is that quick read, just right across the middle, bang. That's where it had to be thrown. You saw Ty Cruz in a position that if it's any further out in front of him, he'll get it. That's what you tell the quarterback. Stick it in there, right in the stomach.
1st and goal to go for the Eskimos. The ball resting on the 7-yard line of the BC Lions. The Eskimos trail 28-7. Dunnigan having to scramble. Pump. He's got room. Touchdown! Matt Dunnigan! But a flag is down on the opposite side of the field from Dunnigan's touchdown sprint.
We're going to decline this one. I think it happened over here on Brian Kelly. The flag was thrown as he tried to release off the line, but that was a great move by Dunnigan when he pump faked Barnett and Parker and got around him.
Touchdown flag.
I will take a look at him. He doesn't like what he sees. Now he's outside. Now what's his pump? Bang. Makes it, pump, fakes our cameraman a little bit. Barnett jumps in the air to try to block the pass, and as a result, Dunnigan gets around him.
And the man who scored the touchdown will hold the point after try for Tom Dixon. It too is good, so the Edmonton Eskimos have picked up their 2nd touchdown of the game. They trail by 14 points, 28-14.
Good look at Matt Dunnigan now. Straight back in the pocket. Doesn't like what he sees. Uses his good scrambling ability to get outside. Now watch right here. Makes that little pump fake. Causes Barnett to stop. And when you stop, you lose your momentum. Bang, Dunnigan's in.
And with a quarterback like Matt Dunnigan, that's all he needs is for you to hesitate, for you to pause. And he is quick enough to pick up on your mistake and run in for the touchdown. And following the TD, Tom Dixon kicking off. And it'll be Crawford at his 5. He's at the 15. Looking for running room on the outside, still on his feet, and tripped up at the 21-yard line by Dan Kern. So BC will be 1st and 10 from the 21, and the crowd, the large crowd here at Commonwealth Stadium, really enjoying the game now that the Eskimos have put some points on the board and draw to within 2 converted touchdowns of the BC Lions.
Yeah, they need it. They needed to get a touchdown to get some life, and you can see on that kickoff covering team going downfield, they had a little more enthusiasm, and you say the crowd's into the game. Now we're set to go with 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. There's a turnover, and they're right back in it.
1st and 10 Lions from the 21. James Zachary over to make the stop on Ryan Potter.
Man's been busy today. Danny Bass played really well. He's come on. I was talking to Jackie Parker about him yesterday. He was really bothered by an ankle and a knee injury early in the season, and he's finally healthy. He said in the last few games he's played the way they knew Danny Bass would play.
2nd and 6 for the Lions. DeWald intending that for Fernandez. It's incomplete, thrown over his head, and there was a lot of pressure on Roy DeWalt. As soon as he got rid of the ball, he was decked by 3 members of the Eskimos front 4 who were coming.
A look of concern on Matthews' face.
Well, he knows that if Fernandez or make that Roy DeWalt goes down, he has to go with Tim Cowan, who did not look sharp in their last game, their victory over the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Regina. So he wants Roy DeWalt to stay healthy. Sagney is punting. Bounces. Jackson takes it at the 42. Make that Treflin. And Treflin picks up a yard or 2. Benny Jones thinks it was a loose ball, and he's prepared to go into the end zone.
Looked like the 2 punt receivers got a little bit confused on who was going to catch it, and as a result, nobody did. They let it hit the ground, which is something coaches don't like to see. They want the ball caught in the air. If they take that funny bounce, you can lose a lot of yardage on it.
And that's what Darnell Clash does so well for the BC Lions. Of course, he's the only punt returner, so they really don't have that opportunity to mix things up. 1st and 10 Eskimos. Ball on their own 44. Dunnigan, hot time. Fires, intended for Howlett. And he had to go through his hands. Larry Cowan made a super block on James Parker, perhaps to give Dunnigan that extra second to get the ball away.
Yeah, he was looking down the middle, but the BC Lion linebacker got awful deep. Can't throw it in there when they're that far downfield. You have to go to the short receiver. So 2nd and 10. Let's say they come after him. They've been blitzing him with a lot of success.
Away from it. Hole opens up. Dunnigan fumbles the ball. But I believe he's recovered at the midfield stripe, maybe just inside the Lions' territory. And that'll be the first down the Eskimos needed to keep the drive alive.
Well, we said right here is where Barnett started. Here's where he is now. That's a safety man. And when he blitzes through here, it surprises me how Dunnigan's able to get out of there because it doesn't look like any lane. I tell you what, there was a good job of picking up a safety blitz. But Dunnigan used his athletic ability. But look at this. This is about the way the Eskimos' day has gone. They have put that ball on the ground a lot. He had a lot more yards if he doesn't drop it. Mel Bird's a little bit injured. We're going to take a look at Dunnigan again to see how he gets out of this trouble. This determination and then quickness. Very fortunate to get that ball back.
Good concentration on the part of Dunnigan once the ball fell out to stay with the ball, stay on top of it. First and 10 for the Eskimos. The ball is on the midfield stripe. Dunnigan runs it out and sending it for Kurt Skinner, but it's incomplete. I'll tell you one thing that Don Matthews is hoping doesn't happen to his BC Lions. They fell asleep in the second half against the Rough Riders last week. Doesn't want that happening.
No, you don't ever want to go to sleep in a football game. You've got to keep your concentration up. If you don't, that's what will happen to you.
So it's 2nd and 10 now for the Eskimos.
Quarterbacks don't like to see those defensive ends with those free shots.
The BC Lions are coming. Barnett was. They complete it from Nelson Jones. And Jones is down to the 42-yard line. Drag Cruz over to make the stop, but a flag is down.
Well, once again, we got a flag on the play, but once again, Dunnigan on a little play action sets up the screen beautifully, but the guy escaped, Bruce Barnett, the safety man. They are coming after Dunnigan from all angles.
And I don't think he knows where it's going to come from because they don't seem to be repeating it that often.
No, they'll
in the same area.
That's right. They'll bring Barnett, then they bring the outside guy Crawford, then they bring the other guy who was Bird. So they're coming after him from all angles. They're trying to confuse him and disrupt his rhythm, and they're doing it.
Illegal block. Edmonton number 67. 2nd down repeated.
Boy, a big call against the Edmonton Eskimos. Cannot guilty of the illegal block, and the crowd has really come alive here at Commonwealth Stadium. They're getting into this one, and if ever the Eskimos needed their support, it's right now. They're 2nd and 20 from their own 45. And you have to believe that this was a designed play. He took about a step and a half back, saw the middle open up, and just came forward. Well short of the first down.
Dunnigan was expecting just what he got. The linebackers were going to drop out of there on a 2nd and 20. They weren't going to blitz him. That's an ideal time for him to call the quarterback draw. And he said a couple steps back, let the defensive line charge, and then find a crease and run. Just didn't get the necessary yardage. He had a long way to go. Picked up 10, but needed 20.
The ball is spotted just shy of the midfield stripe. Tom Dixon standing at his own 40. Darnell Clash, the lone punt returner for the BC Lions. Clash lets it bounce, and it takes an Edmonton Eskimo bounce into the end zone. And if Clash is smart, he'll give up the single point, which he does. And that makes it 28-15 in favor of the BC Lions. 4:27 remaining to play in the third quarter. Yeah, on Sports Weekend, I'm looking forward to that. Lots of horse racing. If you like horse racing, you'll get plenty out of the Breeders' Cup. BC Lions 1st and 10 following the single point. Ball spotted at their own 35-yard line. DeWalt swings it out to John Henry White. And John Henry White tries to get to the 35-yard line. Can't. Danny Bass is over to make the stop, and Stu Hill does a bit of a victory dance.
Stu Hill does get excited. I mean, he's been that way all day. Every time somebody knocks the wall down, he's the first in there helping his guy up off the field and jumping around.
Loss of 1. It'll be 2nd and 11. Ball now at the 34.
Hasn't gone to Fernandez for a while.
They're going. Fernandez has it, and he'll get the first down and then some. Fernandez gets inside the Eskimos territory to the 51-yard line. Cliff Tony forcing Fernandez out of bounds. You were right, Ronnie.
That's not real hard to be right when you got Fernandez there and you need 10 yards. Use him. Look at it. Look how far open he is. He just went down, turned to the outside. He had 6 yards, and this is what he does well. Shakes that first tackler, and then with that speed, if he doesn't get him, there's a chance for a touchdown.
DeWalt under pressure, and again the Eskimos defense coming up big when they have to. Tom Tuanez leading the charge for the Eskimos. Stu Hill was also in there. James Zachary. What a great game the Eskimos defense has played. Pity their offense couldn't match their defensive performance, at least for consistency. 2nd and 16 for the Lions. The ball on the 52-yard line. 2:52 to play in the third quarter. DeWalt going long, looking for Ron Robinson, well over his head. Greg Schaefer putting pressure on Roy DeWalt that time, and Murph Fernandez was a little distraught. He felt that he was open for a long enough period of time, but ignored that time by Roy DeWalt.
You know, sometimes you get as much pressure on a quarterback as Edmonton is and the BC Lions. You sometimes can't see to the outside. They get right up in your face.
I knew Leo was here.
Oh, boy, I'm glad you said that, Steve.
Louis Crisaglia with the punt. Dufflin. And he gets out to about the 28-yard line. Benny Jones downfield for the BC Lions to make the stop. Don't forget the Shammy Awards on CBC television. Always a very exciting night. Be seen at 8 o'clock in most areas of the country, 9 o'clock live in the Maritimes, and 9:30 live in Newfoundland. That's the Shammy Awards. And then, of course, the big Grey Cup Parade and In Search of a Dream. That's an interesting show that we hope you'll enjoy. That's Saturday, November the 23rd. And then, of course, the game itself and the countdown to Grey Cup. Be sure to join us early enough for that countdown to Grey Cup. We're going to have lots of information in that one for you. 1st and 10, Eskimo. Dunnigan firing over the middle, looking for Brian Kelly, incomplete.
You know, right here, Mike Ray probably saved a big gainer. He put the pressure on Dunnigan, as you see Matt getting up off the ground. But they blitzed Larry Crawford from the backside again. They're just coming after him from everywhere, as we've said. And Chris Woods got down and into the middle and was wide open, but he just didn't have the strength to get there. Of course, you got a guy 280 pounds hanging on you, it's hard to get strength.
They kind of figure the goose needs something. Get him fired up, get him into the ball game. 2nd and 10 Eskimos from their own 29. Complete to Chris Woods. A perfect pattern and a perfect pass from Matt Dunnigan. That's all.
Excellent timing, excellent execution. Because Dunnigan threw the ball knowing that Chris Woods was going to curl into that open area, and that's exactly what he did. That's confidence in your receivers and your pattern and yourself, because he threw it before Woods made the turn. If Woods pulls him there, it's an interception, but that's why you practice every day.
A pickup of 12 yards on the play. So 1st and 10 for the Eskimos from the 41. Dunnigan sprints right. Fires to Brian Kelly. And what a reception that was. He threw before Kelly made his turn, and flags go down after the completion.
Well, he knew Brian Kelly was going to break to the outside to the sideline. And when he sprinted out there, when the pressure came, he anticipated the break, and he threw it. And just as Kelly turned around, it hit him in the numbers. That's perfect. That's 2 straight. That's what you need.
A 12-yard pickup followed by a 24-yard pickup, and they're going to tack on the penalty, taking it down to 30-yard line.
Laser foul. BC number 4. 1st down.
Just as Brian turns around, there it is. I mean, he's got, Darnell Clash has good coverage on him, but they always say the ball's on time, and yeah, you deserve 15 for that, Nelson.
Nelson Martin, a guilty player. 1st and 10 from the 30 Eskimos. Pass complete to Larry Cowan. Cowan down to the 21-yard line. Mel Bird over to make the stop for the Lions. This is shades of what happened in Regina. The BC Lions went to sleep, and it almost cost them there.
Well, I think the Eskimos are helping them to go to sleep. That defense has been putting pressure on DeWalt. They flooded the zone that time with 4 people. Dunnigan looks downfield, didn't like the 3 down there, and laid it off in the flat to Cowan. 2nd and 1. See if he has a surprise up his sleeve here.
The clock is running. Less than 20 seconds remaining to play in the 3rd quarter. Give to Milton Jones, and he gets down to the 20-yard line. You have to get to the 20 for the 1st down. Again, it depends where they spot the ball, and they're asking for the change to come on the field, so they'll have a measurement.
I think he's going to be a couple inches short. About an inch, 2 inches.
Well, we're looking at the marker on the far side of the field, and he is about the nose of the football shy of the 1st down.
Well, this should be no problem. Once again, Tim Cowan. You know, I read the articles in the paper last week about Tim Cowan. He's right in some of the things he said. It's very hard for a quarterback to stay sharp when he doesn't play in game situations, and you do get frustrated.
Big 3rd down for the Eskimos. Inches to go. Dunnigan with a little bit of a hesitation step, leading the BC Lions into thinking he was going straight ahead, and then he cut to his right and picked up the 1st down.
That's a good move when a guy's that quick, and he's a pretty strong kid anyway. Just takes that step back, and now he can find the hole and bang, into it he goes.
And speaking of bangs, there goes the gun to end the 3rd quarter play here at Commonwealth Games Stadium. 28-15 in favor of the Lions. Could well be the most important quarter that these 2 teams will have played thus far in the CFL season. 1st and 10 for the Eskimos. The ball on the Lions' 19. Dunnigan pass, and it's complete to Brian Kelly. Darnell Clash making the stop the moment Kelly received the ball from Dunnigan.
Well, you call this pattern an under pattern. You bring those 2 inside receivers off, and the wide receiver just goes down and comes underneath them. And you just hit them, and got 7 yards or 6 yards with it. That's about all you can ask from it.
We'll make it 6. 2nd and 4. The ball is spotted just over the 13-yard line. 4 minutes or 14 minutes and 16 seconds to play. Score 28-15 in favor of the Lions. Dunnigan wants to pass, and in and out of the arms of Chris Woods. That was 6 points, if ever I'd seen it. If Woods had been able to hang on, he was covered by Nelson Martin.
Well, you have to catch that one. Looked like he jumped. He jumped up in the air. Let's take a look at it. He's going to jump up in the air, and when he does, he loses the football, but it's right in his hands. Good read. There it is. Curl to the inside. Got to catch that. I know the ball was wobbling, and sometimes receivers will say they can't get it, but you've got to catch it.
So now it's 3rd and 4. This is a big play for the Eskimos. Donegan fakes it. He's got lots of room. He fires. Complete. Touchdown. Brian Kelly.
Boy, I thought he made a mistake when he pulled up. Boy, he made a great fake, ran a naked bootleg, and I thought he was just going to run right on into the end zone. He pulled it up and hit Brian Kelly, but it was a great fake. Watch this fake. Watch the BC Lions take it, right? Here, look at number 40, Parker. He fell for it, and he's the contained man. Now he's free. Now he's stopped. You save a couple seconds by throwing it.
I thought he was going to run. I really did.
I thought he should have. It was a great fake, though. That's what made the play, was the fake.
The point after from John Dixon is good. The score is 28-22. Don't go away, folks. We're in for a great finish.
There you see James Parker go to the inside. Now Mel Bird's covering his man, but it looks like Dunnigan can just run on into the end zone. He just pulls up at the last second, hits Brian Kelly over the goal line, touchdown, and as you say, Steve, we got quite a ball game.
And a great shot from our reverse angle camera here at Commonwealth Stadium.
Kevan Jenkins. Yeah, it's pretty hard to run on crutches. They need him out there right now. His quickness, they're missing it.
Larry Crawford. Crawford finds a hole. He's across the 40 and upended at the 43-yard line by Mark Jackson. And now let's check the statistical story in the 3rd quarter. And what a turnaround for the Edmonton Eskimos offense.
Yeah, they had 21 yards rushing at the half. Now they have 53, but they only had 81 yards of total offense at halftime. Now 187. So you see the 3rd quarter was theirs, and they need a 4th quarter to match it.
The Eskimos have outscored the BC Lions in the 2nd half, 15-0. DeWalt is to the first man, who gets up to the 45-yard line. John Henry White.
Well, that Edmonton defense is right up on the line of scrimmage, almost like they heard the play. They knew they were going to run, and when you have that many men in that close of area, you cannot get through there. And as you see, they got 2 yards, and that's all. Big down, 2nd and 8, long yardage.
And the ball's at the 45. DeWalt under pressure, gets away from one man. I don't think he'll make it from the second. He fumbles. And the Eskimos have recovered.
Well, you know what did it? Cliff Tony on a halfback blitz, nobody to pick him up. He caused Roy DeWalt to change direction. Now you'll see Tony's coming from our left side. Now DeWalt sees him, he has to get away from him. He caused him to pull it down, and watch Danny Bass. As we said, he's played a great football game today, caused it to fumble. I thought one of them would try to pick it up and run, but I'll tell you, take possession. Don't lose possession trying to run with it. What a game Danny Bass has had today. Parker was right yesterday when he said he was healthy.
He is in A1 shape, both mentally and physically, for this big game this afternoon. 1st and 10 Eskimos from the Lions' 28-yard line on the turnover. Donegan under pressure, and he is brought down by Michael Gray, but there's a flag down on the play. Boy, these defenses are playing just a super game here this afternoon. We thought we saw one of the great defensive struggles of all time at BC Place Stadium when the Lions took on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers a couple of weeks ago. We're seeing a dandy today.
Looked like he wanted to throw that quick screen out to the flanker. Somebody moved the procedure. I don't know what happened here, but Dunnigan didn't like the treatment that Gray gave him getting up off the ball. He got up and said something to him. I don't know. I always say you don't make those defensive linemen mad.
Well, they lost 5 yards on the sack, so it's 2nd and 15. Donegan wants to run. He has the first down with a couple of yards to spare.
Well, that's what he does so well. We're seeing Matt Dunnigan at his best. He'll go back in that pocket. He had nothing downfield. He says, well, I better find something to do. And Boy, he got up through those defensive linemen. There was nothing out there. He got that first down and then got out of bounds. All right, we'll take a look at him. You see the linebacker's dropping. It's only a 4-man rush, but he doesn't like what he sees. But he likes this wide open country, and he uses it. And then gets out of bounds.
First and 10 Eskimos. The ball is on the line, 17. Nelson Jones, first man up the middle. And Michael Gray over to make the stop for the Lions. Well, the BC Lions defense has risen to the occasion all afternoon long and come up with a big play when they've had to. Can they do it one more time?
Well, if you're Don Matthews, you have the confidence in the defense. You're Jackie Parker, assist the reverse. You think the offense is going to move it, the momentum's on your side. I wonder if we'll see the option play here again.
The ball is on the 13, second and 6, 11:28 remaining to play.
Good sprint out.
Dunnigan wants to put it up. Complete touchdown, Nelson Jones.
Boy, Dunnigan just hung in the pocket, and he hung there till Milton Jones crossed behind that linebacker, and then he put it in there. That's a great catch by Jones. He had to leave his feet to get it, took a good hit. They don't hurt as much when you score, though. He'll be up in a minute. That Jack gets excited, doesn't he?
Come on, Jack, smile. You just tied the game at 28.
All right, we're going to tell you, look, coming from the left side of the screen, now Dunnigan's going to hold the ball till Jones passes up Tyrone Cruz and just lays it in there, and there's the hit. Mel Bird put a good hit on it, but number 34, Milton Jones, had 2 arms around that football. Now what? Now we see him hanging. Just looking. There it is. Take it.
Within 2 minutes, the Eskimos have struck for a pair of touchdowns. The last one coming from that man, Milton Jones, and the crowd really appreciates the effort of the Eskimos so far in this second half.
Yeah, the trainer asked Milton how he's doing. He said, I'm fine. How's the crowd taking it?
Crowd's loving it.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, now a chance for the Eskimos to take the lead with this convert attempt from Dixon. It should be automatic.
You know, it's Milton walking in, jogging, still favoring that ankle.
The convert attempt is good, so the Edmonton Eskimos take the lead by a single point, 29-28. We've got 11:20 to play. Don't go away. Milton Jones on the Eskimos bench, the man who caught that touchdown strike from that man, Matt Dunnigan, and the Edmonton Eskimos have taken the lead over the BC Lions, 29-28, and that man has to be a little bit concerned about the offensive output of his BC Lions in the second half. It has really been zilch.
28-7 lead at the halftime. Now they're trailing by 1. Yeah, you got to be a little bit concerned, and right now is a sign for a good football team to get up and go. Let's find out what they're made of.
Crawford at the 15, looking for running room at the 20. Tripped up to the 22-yard line, so the BC Lions will not have the best of field position to start this drive with.
You know, okay, go ahead. We got to do the promos next week. The Ottawa Rough Riders go to BC. Calgary's in Hamilton. Edmonton's in Montreal. Final week of the season, and we got the one Sunday in Saskatchewan.
Toronto Argonauts against the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Both teams eliminated from the playoffs. Good luck, Ronnie, Leo, and Don.
Sorry about that, Steve, but I wanted to make a point, and I missed it.
Okay, first and 10, Lions. DeWalt wants to put it up, complete to Fernandez. He's got great speed, but he can't break that one. Mark Jackson with good coverage, forcing Fernandez out of bounds.
You know, I was just going to say, when you're down like this, it's time for a good football team to get up and show what they're made of. Because, number one, the Eskimos have come back from a big deficit. They got the lead. They are really fired up flying around. But when you need something, go to your best people. Let them do the job. They're more than willing to do it. So go to Fernandez right away.
Well, he is a record breaker in more than one category, and that time, Sandusky with his first reception of the ball game. We mentioned the fact that Sandusky plays exceptionally well on the road. He has had 600 100-yard plus games, and 5 have come on the road. 164 to 69. Those are impressive figures.
Very impressive.
for the Edmonton Eskimos. It's certainly impressive the way they've come alive in the second half offensively. The gift of John Henry White and running room up the middle against this Eskimo defense has been very, very difficult all afternoon.
Well, right now, the Edmonton Eskimos had to be wondering, the defense especially, wondering when the offense was going to come to life. Well, they came to life in the third quarter, and the defense sees it now. They see they can win the football, and they believe they can win the game, and the pressure is all on the Lions right now. You know, you mentioned earlier Matt Dunnigan might be a little rusty after 2 weeks off. With the second half, he's back to form.
He certainly is. 1st and 10 for the Lions. The ball on the 52-yard line of the Eskimos. BC trail by 1, 29-28. Pass complete to Sandusky. Second reception of the afternoon. They're now obviously going to Sandusky. They have found something in that Eskimos secondary that is getting Sandusky open.
Well, we said earlier he only needs 60 yards to reach that 1,000 yards. Once again, no underneath help for him. Once the ball in the air, you'll see no green jerseys between DeWalt and the receiver. Turn to the inside, make him come back. Good move right at the end to get the extra yard.
1st and 10 Lions. The ball is now on the 38-yard line of the Eskimos. DeWalt pumps once, gives to John Henry White. Tries to find running room on the left side. Stu Hill leading the charge for the Eskimos, who read that play perfectly and reacted accordingly.
Good job by Gerald Roper, as if he misses that block, Danny Bass has got the tackle in the backfield. He had seen that one coming in a hurry.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's game attendance is 48,193.
Just announcing the attendance here at Commonwealth Stadium, 48,000 plus. Stadium seats 60,000. But the fans have gotten their money's worth this afternoon. It has been a dandy. Roy DeWalt over the middle, complete to Ron Robinson. Robinson down inside the 15-yard line. James Bell making a touchdown-saving tackle.
Well, you said it's sign of a good football team to get up when things are going bad. DeWalt hit Fernandez for a big gain, hit Sandusky for the game, turns around and drills it to Robinson. That was a well-thrown football right across the middle. You've seen Robinson. I believe that's his first catch.
Well, one of the things they're doing on this drive is they're mixing up their receivers, and so far it's worked well. DeWalt also getting some time now. He's going to have to run and eat this one. He gets down just inside the 10-yard line. Tom Tooney.
You saw Roy DeWalt as he was back in the pocket looking to his right. Ron Robinson, he thought Robinson was open, but he wasn't. So he's got him covered well, but he thought Robinson thought he was open, but DeWalt saw Delorier just sitting right inside of him and wisely pulled that ball down and ran with it.
Delorier has 7 interceptions on the season, so Roy DeWalt wasn't taking any chances. The players, Dan Kearns, another defined and many graduates of the SFU football program. This program is copyrighted and is strictly for the use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition in whole or in part without the written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited.
Saw Dan Kearns' brother Steve at a high school football game down around Hamilton a couple of weeks ago. It's amazing the difference between them. You know, Dan's really big and pumps that iron. Steve's just kind of a quiet guy. He's an offensive player, you can tell.
Big offensive play for the BC Lions. 2nd and 6. Ball on the 10. DeWalt puts it up. Touchdown! Merv Fernandez. His 3rd of the ball game.
Well, the mistake was made right on the line of scrimmage. Darrell Hall tried to cover Fernandez from inside out and allowed Fernandez inside of him. Well, when he gets inside of you, it's a race. What? Right here. Bang. Now he's inside. It's over. He is beaten right there. DeWalt just lays it out there, and Fernandez will go get it.
So the BC Lions have answered the call offensively, coming alive in the 4th quarter. The convert attempt from Louis Pasaglia is good, and the BC Lions are back on top, 35-29, 7:20 remaining to play in the game.
Just when it seemed I was drifting along, headed for heaven knows.
Down passes could be a candidate, and so could this man, Merv Fernandez. Boy, he got inside Darrell Hall, and it was just a race. They put the blitz on him. You see them all coming. The 1, 2, 3, let it go. You see number 17, James Bell, in a halfback blitz. But Darrell Hall got beat to the inside, which you don't want to do. 3 touchdown catches for Fernandez, 4 touchdown throws for DeWalt. The BC Lions showed a lot of class right there, coming back after giving up, 22 points. And bang, came right down the field and scored and mixed it up well, Steve.
A fact that was not appreciated by the 48,000 plus on hand here at Caldwell Stadium, although the BC Lions do have their supporters here in Edmonton. Not that many. Wood drops it at the 10. He's at the 15, 20, 25, across the 30, and gets up to the 34-yard line, where the Eskimos will have good field position for this next offensive drive. And if it's anything like the last one, it may prove to be very profitable for Matt Dunnigan and the Eskimos. And those stats have gotten a lot closer with the play of Dunnigan in the second half. In the first half, it was all Roy DeWalt. And Dunnigan has certainly awoken the Eskimos offense in the second half. First and 10, Edmonton from the 34. Dunnigan, complete to Howlett. Howlett fighting to get across the 40-yard line. Glenn Jackson in on the initial stop for the BC Lions.
Well, Steve Howlett hasn't been used too much. He's a rookie from University of Toronto. He's got 1 touchdown on the year, 13 receptions. That's his 14th, I believe. Good job. Good second effort to get that 8 yards, 7 yards.
6:28 remaining to play in the ball game. The Eskimos need 3 yards for the first down to keep the drive alive. The ball is on the 41-yard line. Give to Cowan. Yeah, he'll be close to the first down if he doesn't have it.
Tell you, it was a good surge by the offensive line, but Larry Crawford from that halfback position came around it, put a pretty good hit on him.
In the first half, you'll remember, we saw the Edmonton Eskimos defense rise up and stop the BC Lions when they needed less than a yard for the first down.
6 minutes left, 3rd down and 1. And Jackie Parker's showing a lot of confidence in this one because he's going after it in his own territory.
This is a big play for the Eskimos. 3rd and 1. Dunnigan again with that little hesitation instead of going straight ahead, cutting to the left side and picking up the first down.
Well, I think he's made the first down. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They're going to measure it. Oh, let's take a look at Nick Kepler. Watch it. They know he's going to sneak it. He's going to get down inside, go underneath for penetration. That's what you want those defensive linemen to do, and he did a good job, but Dunnigan went the other way.
All he wanted to do is fill the hole, and Dunnigan picks up the first down, a big first down for the Eskimos by about a half a yard.
There's Mr. Excitement, Jackie Parker.
I'll tell you, if he can't get excited with this one, we should check his pulse.
Oh, he's got to be excited. He's got to love the way they're playing right now.
Ball on the 44-yard line. Dunnigan with good fake. And he was intending that one for Chris Woods. But James Parker was pressuring Dunnigan on the play. Never gave Dunnigan a chance to get set and really unload.
Yeah, also, Dunnigan wants to throw to that side of the field, so what Parker's got him lined up, he just throws it underneath, throws it harmless, hits the ground, but he had to throw the ball before he was ready to. There's no doubt about that. If you had a whole team full of James Parkers, what a football team you'd have, wouldn't you?
You sure would, and there's no mistake in picking him out today. He's got that feather in his helmet. 2nd and 10 Eskimos. Dunnigan swings it, intending for Chris Skinner. It's incomplete. And Dunnigan looks like he wants to have words with Skinner.
Well, even if he catches the football, I don't think he makes the first down. There's 3 BC Lions. They forced him to dump that ball there, and then they were going to come up and make the hit. So I don't think we're going to see a gamble now, not with almost 5 minutes, 3rd and 10.
Punting situation now for the Eskimos. Dixon to Clash. Clash at the 20. Does a little dance, gets by the 25 to the 30. And a trip up at the 31-yard line by Rod Knapp. So the BC Lions defense came up with the big plays. Let's see if the Eskimos now can stop the Lions offense. 4:35 to play. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Lions.
What is interesting, what I want to see now is the last drive the Lions put together. DeWalt really took control on the field and bang, 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 put him in the end zone. Let's see if he comes with the same drive, or does he go back into the shell of running and dumping? Let's see if he goes right back to work on it.
Well, he elects to go with a running play, John Henry White. And John Henry White picks up a yard, maybe, certainly not much more.
I was a little surprised he ran it right away. I thought for sure, you know, he hit about his last 3 or 4 in a row. Come right back out and show him you're the boss. You know, Jackie Parker would have.
Looks like he's in agony. His team is trailing 35-29. 3:54 remaining to play. 2nd and 9 for the Lions. The ball on the 32. DeWalt to pass. Sandusky's open. Makes the catch. Good catch by Jim Sandusky. A diving catch.
Well, he laid out to go get that one. Just a down and out. Watch it thrown in front of him. He just dives out, gets it in the hand, pulls it in.
That may not be compared to the catch in the game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but nonetheless a big catch for the BC Lions. We're now 1st and 10 from their own 42. 3:16 to play. DeWalt pumps one, lays it up, looking for Fernandez. And Fernandez had to change directions. He was running inside, and the pass was thrown outside. 3:07 remaining to play in the game. It's BC leading Edmonton 35-29. 2nd and 10 for the BC Lions. The ball on the 42. 2:55 to play. DeWalt wants to put it up. Complete to Sandusky. Gets by his man. He's got open field. He's at the 30. The 20. 10. Touchdown. Jim Sandusky.
Well, it's a very simple pattern. They tried to blitz them. They kept everybody in to protect them. Watch the blitz. Here comes Bass, and they also have Delorier coming on a safety blitz. They pick it up. It's just a down and out. But this is what Sandusky's good at when he gets hold of the ball. Stop inside of him, and now the race is on. DeWalt, in the last 2 drives, has shown a lot of character, and I'll tell you what, that's what you need from your quarterback when things are tough.
That's a happy bunch of BC Lions on the Lions bench, congratulating Jim Sandusky. Now Louis Pizzaglia will attempt the point after. It is good. So the BC Lions have increased their margin as we look at that touchdown strike again.
That's what you call quickness and body control. Plant that foot, cause the missed tackle, and then just outrun everybody. They say he's not fast. He just gets there first, that's all.
And as Jim Sandusky was racing into the end zone, the fans here at Conwell Stadium are racing for the exits. They realize that for all intents and purposes, this game is over. And remember, the BC Lions, in order to finish first in the West, had to pick up 3 out of a possible 4 points in their last 2 remaining games. It now appears they're dead certain to pick up 2 points from this game. They will close out the season, the regular season, next Friday night at BC Place Stadium against the Ottawa Rough Riders. Should they win that one, first place is theirs. And the all-important home field advantage in the playoffs, which the BC Lions feel they need very, very badly. Chris Woods dancing around at the 15, finally brought down by Ryan Potter.
Well, with 2:37 on the clock, that was a big, big play by the special teams, the kickoff covering unit of the Lions. The main thing they didn't want to happen is a big, long kickoff return, possibly for a touchdown. As a result, if you just look down on this field, they're going to take over the football on the 16-yard line. That's good coverage when you had to have it.
A race for the X's here at Commonwealth Stadium. The Eskimos gave it a great shot, great try in the second half, but they came up short once the BC Lions caught fire in the fourth quarter. Of course, we're writing them off. The way Dunnigan strikes, strike quickly and often. Dunnigan running and gets to the 30-yard line where a flag goes down. Kevin Konar, you know, with the intensity at which this game has been played, I'm surprised we haven't had more penalties. It's been a relatively penalty-free game.
Yes, it has. I think when you get two good football teams going out there with as much on the line as been on the line today, penalties can hurt you. And when you're playing aggressive and good, hard, tough football, you don't get the penalties. You're going to get a clipping call here on Steve Howlett, I think, on that run of Dunnigan's, and that's going to hurt him.
You know, we saw Don Matthews pacing on the sidelines. He will tell you that this game is nothing more than just another two-pointer for the BC Lions.
Edmonton, clipping number 89.
But I tend to believe that he really wants to beat the Eskimos, certainly here in Edmonton.
Well, excellent view of the clip. Rand Haywood, ISO guy, got it again. Steve Howlett definitely hit Nelson Martin in the back, and you can't do that.
Dunnigan, the pass, complete to Rick Woods. And Woods should have the first down for the Eskimos. Mel Bird over to make the tackle for the Lions. Getting back to the standings in the CFL West, a win here this afternoon will give BC 24 points, the same as Winnipeg. But remember, Winnipeg have finished their regular season. The BC Lions still have a game to play. Dunnigan. The pass for Brian Kelly, complete. Kelly out of bounds at the 41-yard line. 2:13 to play. Lions on top, 42-29.
Looks like he had his arm hit just as he was releasing it. Lame duck pass went up in the air, but you don't worry what it looks like as long as the guy catches it. BC's going to sit back now. Last two plays, they've sit back. Not going to let anybody get deep to get that big score early. Let's see if they do it again.
Ball back 41. Dunnigan scrambles out of there. I don't know how he did it, but he did. At the 50, down at the midfield stripe, Nelson Martin over to make the stop. But those kind of plays eat up a lot of time on the scoreboard clock.
Yeah, Don Matthews was talking to me about this before the game. With Dunnigan's scrambling ability, he scrambles out there and runs for 8 or 9 yards. That's fine. What he doesn't want is that defensive back to see him start to run and come up and let him release a touchdown pass for about 60 yards. That's the only thing that can hurt him now.
Which he did to Brian Kelly earlier in the ballgame. That time he intended the pass to Brian Kelly, but it came up short. Darnell Clash was over covering on the play for the Lions. Why isn't that man smiling?
I don't know.
He is about to end the Edmonton Eskimos' 7-game winning streak. The last time they lost was August 23rd, and that was 42-34 here at Commonwealth Games Stadium against Saskatchewan. The score in this one is 42-29 in favor of the Lions. Dunnigan gets the pass away. Intercepted. Larry Crawford picking that off. His 5th interception of the season.
Well, Larry Crawford just sitting back, sitting right along the hash marks, right down the field. Jackie Parker knows right now with that interception, this game's over. He needed a big play. Dunnigan tries to get it, but Crawford is just sitting back here. You see a safety blitz again, but he's sitting here free. Now the ball's thrown. He goes to the football, as every good defensive back does. And that's about all she wrote.
Now the best the Edmonton Eskimos and their fans can hope for is a second or third place finish in the West. John Henry White tries to get up to the 30-yard line. 1:39 remaining to play. There you see the clock is running. 2nd and 8 for the Lions. Ball on the 29. John Henry White, big hole. Still on his feet, crosses the 45-yard line, brought down the 47, Laurent Delorier. One of the many fine graduates out of UBC that he stopped for the Eskimos.
John Henry White hasn't had this much work in a long time.
He's enjoying it. He likes to carry the
probably
ball.
enjoys it. Not many running backs don't like to carry the football.
But he'll do anything for it. I mean, he wants to block, he'll catch the passes, and he, as you say, loves to run. First down, ball on the 46. 1:03 to play. 42-29 Lions. Ryan Potter. And he struck. Good effort by Ryan Potter. Doesn't get to play that much.
Good job by Roy DeWalt. He stood there over behind the center watching the 20-second clock tick down, and when he snapped the ball, there was 1 second showing on.
Less than a minute now. The clock is running. 45 seconds to play in the game. BC Lions headed for a first-place tie with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, both with 24 points. The Lions have one game remaining to play next Friday at home against the Ottawa Rough Riders. The season is over for the Bombers. Ryan Potter, another good game. Now we have an injured BC Lion player down on the field. Struggling to his feet.
Brian Hillebrand. Talking to Brian before the game, he wanted to be sure we said hello to his mother and father back in around Estevan, Saskatchewan. Hurting a little bit. I know he didn't want to have to say it this way. He said they were ready to play today. It looked a little doubtful there late in the third quarter.
I'll tell you, it looked like they had fallen into the deep sleep that they were accused of doing at Regina Field against the Rough Riders. But again, just like they did at Taylor Field, they seemed to wake up just at the right time.
Well, what I liked was the way DeWalt took control when he went out on the field after the Eskimos went ahead 29-28. He just decided it was time to get the job done, and he did it.
15 seconds. First and 10 Lions from the Eskimos 47. And again, it's Ryan Potter who is seeing more action in this game than he has seen in a long time, simply because of the first quarter injury to Keevan Jenkins. I understand it was a sprained knee. He was taken off on the golf cart. We saw him on crutches later in the game. Now this should be the final play of the game for the BC Lions. And there goes the whistle and the gun. The BC Lions have ended the 7-game winning streak of the Edmonton Eskimos with a count of 42-29. But more importantly for Don Matthews, it means the BC Lions' drive for first place in the West is very much alive.
Here it is, coming at you. O'Keefe section won't stop like you've never seen it before.
The Carling O'Keefe Sport Game stars in BC Lions 42-29 win over the Eskimos, both from the BC Lions. On offense, it was Roy DeWalt with his passing, and on defense, it was James Parker, who played an outstanding game defensively for the BC Lions. Ronnie, I really enjoyed this one. It was a thriller.
Well, I think as it turned out, it was everything we hoped for before the ball game started. But to me, what I liked about the football game was when the Eskimos went ahead 29-28. When the Lions came on the field next series, Roy DeWalt took control, moved them right down the field and scored. Turned around the next time, Sandusky with another touchdown pass. I believe he threw 5 today. That is a sign of a good team when things are going bad to get up off the floor and come back at them. And I think that's what they showed today.
Okay, let's take a look at the fourth quarter scoring summary, because this is where the game turned around. This is where the Edmonton Eskimos made it interesting with a couple of TD passes to Kelly and Jones, and then, of course, Roy DeWalt, who really used his receivers well, as Ronnie pointed out, going with a TD strike to Merv Fernandez, his third of the game, and then a touchdown run and pass to Jim Sandusky. The CompuStats in the game: 425 yards net offense for the BC Lions, 298 for the Edmonton Eskimos. But where it counted the most, the final count was 42-29 in favor of the BC Lions over the Eskimos, and the Lions keep their drive for first place alive in the West. And now let's go back to Brian Williams at CFL Control. Brian?
All right, thank you, Steve Armitage. Good, exciting football game at the Commonwealth Stadium. Let's show you the standings, beginning with the Western Conference. Don't forget, BC needs only a tie at home to the Ottawa Rough Riders on Friday, Edmonton at Montreal Sunday. The Eastern standings, Montreal defeated Toronto today, 17-3. The Argos from first to last. In 1 year, they're eliminated. Should Hamilton tie either of those teams, the Ticats will get first place. Well, it's been a very busy Sunday. Don't forget a big night on CBC, the very entertaining and interesting Hell Bank special, followed by Peter Mansbridge with the news at 10 and Venture with Patrick Watson. I'm Brian.